This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 388 for the week of Monday, October 5th, 2015. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We have a packed house for you today, and I think it deserves it with this chapter. Let's start with our special guest, as always, Stephen Paul. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, guys. Good to be on.
The translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump. That's what I meant to say there. I'm completely off my game already, and that's not good. We also have the author of Mermin, which is Eisner-nominated. We have Joey Weiser with us. Hey, Joey.
Hey, guys. Glad to be part of this pachydermed house.
Of course, we also have the dude with us. Hey, dude.
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
It's going all right.
And last, but certainly not least, the FUNimation brand manager for One Piece, we have Josh Kocurek with us. How are you doing, Josh?
Doing well. Long time no podcast, guys.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm glad to have you back on.
Glad to be here.
What's the news? What do you got for us?
What's the scoop?
Wasting any time, right?
Just a really big Zou tonight. Really big Zou.
Who voices Sabo?
How do I be a voice actor?
What happens at the end of One Piece?
Can we make more of it?
Don't care, Battle Gods.
Is my theory right? I bet it is.
So on today's show, we have a manga recap of chapter 802. As Ed alluded to, the name of that one is Zou. Ed, do you have the episode 712 title in front of you as well?
A strong wind and a surge. Hakuba versus Dellinger.
When I first read that, I thought it said The Strong World, but I was disappointed.
That would be much better than what we got this week.
It was okay. We'll get into that.
It was the longest 16 minutes of my life.
Wow. Okay. We'll talk about that later. We also have a lot of piece together, I am sure. But before we get into the show, I said I would announce this last week, but I am announcing it now. We will be at New York Comic-Con, and we will be having our meetup where we did a few years ago. It's going to be at Bryant Park, which now that there's a new subway is only 2 stops away. It's a very quick trip, and a walk.
You can get a sandwich.
No, it's not that subway, Ed. It's the subterranean railroad. Is
One Piece Podcast is not affiliated anyway with Subway.
No, we are not.
And we never want to be.
On October 10th at 1 p.m., that is this Saturday, please join us in Bryant Park. We will try to have a One Piece flag or One Piece something to mark our territory. Dude, I don't know if you'll be able to make it or not, but you're going to be in New York during that time, I know.
I am. I'll be with some friends, so I'm not really sure what we've got planned for Saturday, so that's contingent on me showing up.
Okay, but hopefully Dude will make it. Either way, I'm going to definitely drag Jose along with me, so it'll be a lot of fun. And if you're at New York Comic-Con and you happen to see us, say hello. I don't know how much I'm going to be around the convention, but I'm certainly going to be around the city since I live there. I also want to mention that Kadesh, who helped compose some of our music for the One Piece Podcast Goes to Japan, just posted a new album, which is all One Piece related stuff. So check him out at twitter.com/KadeshFlow or youtube.com under that same name, and check out that One Piece album. It's some cool stuff. We're going to have him on next week with Jose to talk a little bit more about that.
Speaking of albums,
yes,
actually, I made a photo album of all my One Piece stuff that hangs up on my bookshelves and on my walls and all over my apartment. And I put that up on our podcast subreddit. So if you're interested in how much One Piece crap people who do the podcast actually have, it's a lot.
Oh, should I take pictures of my shit too?
Are we doing that? Is that a thing we're doing now?
I don't know. Someone made a thread on the One Piece subreddit, the regular One Piece subreddit, and said post pictures of your collections. And Zach had always told me I should do that.
I did. I don't even remember.
This was like years ago. At this point.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a lot of crap.
You do have a very cool collection of One Piece stuff. You have almost everything. Well, that's not true. Greg has almost everything.
Oh yeah, Greg has a lot more stuff.
You have everything available in the United States. Yeah. Before we get into the show, just a couple other little cool things on the website. We put William put the first part of an Oda interview, which I haven't even finished reading. It's a long one, but from what I've read, very good stuff. I'm going to continue reading that tonight after I edit this.
Is this the same magazine with the DVD that shows his toilet?
Yes. It also
was
shows
great.
a lot of other cool things, but the toilet, yes.
That's the most important thing.
Obviously.
Does Oda
Badass
poop?
toilet.
It's Japan. All of the toilets are pretty damn badass too.
That's true.
So yeah, please check that out. William put a lot of hard work into that. There's also it's kind of liberal to call it a sneak peek for the film, but we have a little bit of a sneak peek on the website. William and One Piece Kun, the Greg's fellow Mania, found some cool little things hidden in volume 79. We're not at 59 anymore. So check that out on the website as well. Which goes into the last thing I want to mention. And Steven, I think we're going to be going through One Piece 79 in a few weeks. It just came out here. Can we announce the date we're doing that now, or is it still up in the air?
I don't know. Sometime in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Whenever we have a next break, I would say.
Okay.
In the manga. Yeah.
So look forward to it at that point. Volume 79, I think, just came out. So if you are able or read Japanese, pick that up. Otherwise, you could wait for us whenever the next manga break is, and we will talk about it. I think that's everything. We want to get into the Zou right now, so let's do it.
Oh my god! Did you say into the Zou, like into the zone?
Well, it's a big Zou.
On with the Zou.
Fly into the danger zone.
I am honored to receive your waste.
This is the manga recap for chapter 802, Zou. Ed, what's going on the cover page here? Actually, we should probably start on the Shonen Jump cover page, which features some really cool stuff here, Ed.
Yeah, it's got Luffy with his a dynamic pose, holding with the samurai makeup that also looks like his Gear 4 face.
Like kabuki makeup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what it
But
is.
he's got the big sumo looking knot thing on his back as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I saw this posted somewhere in like the One Piece official site for the Kabuki show. I might be wrong.
No, the Kabuki show is big right now.
Well, it's happening right now. So
Right.
yeah.
Maybe that's the cross promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the English Shonen Jump, I love how uncluttered it is because I saw the Japanese one and there's stuff all over it, but I like its simple minimalism.
It's like when in the chapters we get to see more of the pages than the Japanese people do.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everything isn't covered up with advertisements,
It's always cool.
especially on the cover pages.
Why don't we go into the color spread?
Yes, we are in a hippo's dumpling shop with the cherry blossoms blooming. It's a rainbow dumpling shop.
And Ed, it has Jinbei's sage advice at the top.
Yes, thou shouldst eat to live, not live to eat. Sage words.
Yes.
But Luffy and Zoro are holding papers. What do those papers say, Steven?
Well, Luffy's is he's very proud of this, I'm sure. That is a wanted poster. He's a wanted man. You can see his drawing on the middle of the page. I don't know what the other text says. It's way too small to tell. And Zoro is reading the newspaper, which tells us that the Hippo clan is on the loose. So they've escaped from prison, and you can see they're actually hanging out with the Straw Hats.
I wonder what kind of dumplings those colors are. What flavor is that?
They're all the same flavor.
Yeah, they're all the same flavor. They're just
That's
get
boring.
colored.
How did you guys realize that they were all the same?
Because I've eaten them.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what Dongo are like. They're just they. I don't know if it's food coloring, whatever it is that they put in them. It's not flavored. It's just for color.
I do like the crew interactions here. I love Chopper's face in particular, and Luffy's face, but also I think Zoro's foot is really well drawn for some reason.
You know,
Just down there.
This is the first time I think in a while that we've seen a color spread that didn't have all the Straw Hats on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. If you guys have opinions as to why you think it's like that.
I think the SOS one was the last one where we didn't have every crew member.
I thought everyone was on that one.
No.
It's kind of weird because it's not like it's this is the group that's on the Sunny or like with Luffy's crew or Sanji's crew. Like it's a mix of both of them. So
No, it's like this is pre-Alabasta. Like this is the crew that we had for a really long time, or
good
before
point.
Robin joined. Yeah.
that's true.
Well, pretty much only for the whole Alabasta arc.
Well, that was really long though. Just saying.
That's true.
Do you think there's a reason for it? Because as you may recall, and we talked about this during the One Piece read through with Steven, right before the Davy back fights, we had one that kind of hinted at the issues that would develop.
We're going back in time.
That would develop in Water 7. I'm not saying issues will develop, but do you think it hints at something? Or do you think it's just he just chose the original crew here?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just be a space issue. I think if the other crew was on here, it looked a lot more cluttered, and he probably had like a very specific.
Well, Frankie especially.
I
Yeah,
think it.
layout
I
for
think
this.
it means Robin, Frankie, and Brooke are all gonna die.
And Jinbei's going to join the crew.
If anything, it shows
maybe
that.
Frankie's hiding up in those trees with his. Is it the Z outfit or the
Oh, yeah.
Stronghold
Yeah.
outfit?
Yeah.
Oh, Z.
The
Yeah,
afro?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's, the hippo's just too
cherry
big.
blossoms.
That's all.
Maybe Frankie's inside of the hippo or something.
Yeah.
The hippo's in there. Like, did you get that thing I sent you?
I really love the designs of the hippos. They're like a cross between creepy and cool looking and weird looking and quirky looking. Can't quite put my.
Yeah, they're great. I really love the hippos on this. That's definitely the highlight to me.
So I'm sure, unless there's any other thoughts on that, people probably
I
want
just
to see
really,
this.
I really also really dig the design for Nami's kimono and Luffy's. Actually, it's really cool with the blue, white, and red.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this spread in general. It's a we haven't gotten like a Japanese era one in a little while. I think.
That's the foreshadowing.
Yeah, that might be the foreshadowing.
For Wano.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
No, for more Boss Luffy episodes.
Or it could be for the Kabuki
I'd be
stuff.
happy with that too.
I like how Sanji's like, look, Nami, I'm smoking.
Oh wow, 800 chapters, and I've never noticed.
Okay, let's get started, Ed.
Yep. Back on the in the new world on the Mr. Luffy go, and the hail is falling from the sky. They're huge, the size of your head, and breaking through the deck. Bartolomeo, for some dumb reason, tells Luffy to get inside. It's like, and Luffy's like, "What are you talking about? I'm stronger than you." He just says, "I'll help," but that's the implication. And Frankie is helming the ship, I think, but he needs a navigator to give him orders. And I like how in the middle panel the ship is quite a ways off of the water.
And on the next page, we find out that the ship actually does not have a navigator, since they were all as what?
Typical.
Yeah. Since we learned they were just landlubber gangsters, obviously, guys. And somehow they've made it through the New World, which Usopp is also shocked about, and I don't really understand. So anyway, we get the cutest of transponder snails, as Gambia picks up the phone and answers a call, or calls his grandmother.
Gambia calls his Gammy.
Gambia's Gammy. And calls to ask, there's some huge hail falling here, and that trails off. And Bartolomeo explains, look, he's always calling his grandma back home when there's trouble. And Usopp says, okay, as long as someone here has some advice that they could give us. And Gambia's Grammy did have some advice, and that's that they could get the gum off the deck if they wrap the hail in a cloth and freeze it off. And it works. It's I might do that in the future even.
Voila.
And Usopp's infuriated. I love this whole interaction. It's a lot of fun, and continues because the guy trying to get the gum off gets hit in the head with some hail. And Gambia says, look, we could also rub the lump off with some sugar. And Usopp has just enough.
I don't think it's rub, like he got hit in the head.
Oh,
it's
rub
like
the lump, yeah, not off.
Yeah, not rub it off.
Well, I mean, I don't know how it works then. So meanwhile, everyone else, I don't know, panic isn't the right word, but tries to cope with this ridiculous situation.
Luffy's panicking.
Luffy is panicking, asking for Nami from God knows where to come and save them. Meanwhile, Usopp says, why did we have to pick this ship out of all ships? Zoro is prepared to handle this. Frankie wishes Sunny was there. Robin is just amused by the entire situation, and Law is whatever the opposite of amused is here. And
Bemused.
yeah, exactly. And Zoro says, "Why don't you just put up a barrier and stop this?" And Bartolomeo explains that Gambia Grammy said, "If you fight against nature, you will pay the price." And
It's time to pay the price.
Oh, Gamby.
And Zoro responds, "Look, if you're so scared, just go back and live on the land." And Bartolomeo is just enraptured by how strong and how just they defy nature, the Straw Hats. They're everything I thought they would be. And I'm guessing Zoro is just like, how the hell did you survive this? Thoughts on that whole...
It's impressive that they've made it this long with just like long distance help from Gambia's grandmother.
I don't know if you call it help. But
Why aren't Bartolomeo's fingers bleeding? Because he's gnawing on his fingernails, but he has really sharp teeth. Like his fingertips should be gone right now.
Mm-hmm.
maybe he's done that so much that they've just calloused over.
And Zach, why did you skip over the Martha Stewart reference?
I don't know. I see you included that because only a good translator would include that. The scene ends with this really cool montage where they're almost eaten by a giant sea iguana.
It's a chameleon.
Chameleon?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like... I guess, yeah. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's those weird eyes.
It's a chameleon.
Still cool, nonetheless.
Oh, chameleon.
Yeah, I guess. And the ship falling into some sort of well of ocean water, and then just storms erupting in the background.
You can get a close up on the back of the going Luffy.
With Chopper's face on it, right? Yeah.
So his tongue is the rudder?
Oh, is it?
I think so.
That'd be awesome.
Probably right. Yeah.
It's like he sees some cotton candy and then he can steer the ship.
I zoomed in on it and it's really hard to see, but he kind of looks like he's bug-eyed and kind of crazy looking Chopper. So
like from the Wanted poster.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like
yeah.
It's also like when the Mary went over the clouds in Skypiea.
Right.
Yes, it's exactly like that. Anyway, Joey, what's next?
Yes, we move on to McDonald's with the Golden Urchin.
McDonald's Navy headquarters.
I smell a lawsuit.
Nope. Yeah, it's Navy HQ, and they are just receiving a report that the AO pirates, no relation to AO Kiji, are.
Damn. Joey's got jokes.
These are the jokes.
Yeah, I'm prepared today. No, this is where the jokes end. I was looking at that one panel for a long time. So the AO pirates have been wiped out, and who was it? Of course, it was the warlord Edward Weevil. And here we cut to inside with my man Borsellino clipping his nails.
Also known as Admiral Big Mac. And don't forget about Vice Admiral McCheese.
A Borsellino with cheese.
What?
So he's asking how many of the former Whitebeard captains have gone down now, and this was the 16th. And just like always, it starts with an argument, and then the entire town gets blown off the map. They estimate about 600 casualties. Everywhere he goes, this Weevil guy is causing huge damage of civilian property, and even as one of the warlords, this is too much. And but we learn that this Edward Weevil claims to be the actual son of Edward Newgate. And I assume that there was like a different kind of Japanese word for what they're saying here than how he refers to his crew members.
What's that?
Steven?
How do you mean?
When he says actual son, like it's made specific that because Whitebeard would call all of his like crew members.
Right.
Biological.
He's implying yes, a biological son.
Yeah. And so whether or not that's true doesn't really matter, because what really matters to them is the thing that he possesses is that he is, as a pirate, he is tremendously powerful. And we see a ton of destruction with the pirates in the foreground and a guy that looked at first to me kind of like oars in the distance.
Where do you
and
see that?
Oh
'Cause-
wait, there's Captain Ao. He's right on the ground there.
yeah.
There's Ao. That's the captain with the black hat right in the
Also,
front.
you could say this Weeble guy, he wobbles, but he won't fall down.
He's a weevil wobble.
Yeah,
Captain
and
AO.
so,
It's a shame I never got to see that 3D movie.
Captain Ao.
AO 3D.
So whether or not
Technically
he's
get it.
the really Edward Newgate's son, he still is very, very strong. And we see a close up of his back saying, "They're all dummies. They don't understand. They all say the same thing." Sorry, I don't really know how to.
Let's ask Steven.
cutting
How would
into
you do
the,
this?
Tontata voice a little bit there.
So we turn the page and now we see him in his full glory, I guess. And he says, "They say the only sons of Whitebeard was the Whitebeard pirate crew. But mama, I'm the son of Whitebeard. My hair's white." And we see that this is it is indeed the last of the Warlords of the Sea, the previously unmentioned Warlord of the Sea, Edward Weevil, who likes to call himself Dr. Weevil. No, he calls himself
Oh my
Whitebeard Jr.
These are all terrible.
Thank you. He is a former bounty of 480 million berries. So this guy he's serious business, even though he doesn't look like it.
Whitebeard Jr., you could call him Waiju.
Why do I keep writing these down?
Yeah, he sure isn't Tumblr bait though. I won't expect any sexy fan arts of this guy.
Oh, you will be
Ship
disappointed.
that? Come on, man.
Rule
Let's
34.
correct that now.
Dude, Rule 34.
He's not going to be winning Best Genist at the end of the year. Not like Law. But yeah, he does have the he has the stash that Whitebeard did. That's for sure.
And
My beard hurts. Why am I 8 years old with a beard? It's itchy and it hurts.
It's extra pointy.
That is.
he does have the
Yeah,
same
I
weapon.
Yes, he does. He also has some kind of weird scars. Like it looks like his arm. He kind of almost looks like a zombie a bit. Like he's got the scar that goes all the way around his neck, and over the middle of his head and his eye, and then the one over his arm.
His arms are also the most absurd things I've ever seen.
Yeah, he looks like he has like elephantitis or something.
Yeah.
He looks like one of those weird arm wrestlers.
It looks
Drinking
like
that
sausages.
Yeah.
There's a part in my mouth.
Mr. Battered Sausage.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to note, he's named Weevil after the insect, which if you ever see pictures of weevils, they kind of look like really tiny, like stag beetles. Like they kind of have a big horn thing, like spiky horns, which is a little bit what he looks like. But another interesting note is that in Japanese, the word for weevil is zomushi, which means elephant bug.
Oh.
He's also a rabbi, as we could see.
Yeah.
Oh
got-
yeah.
From his hat?
Oh, and that weird silhouette from last week's spread of all the of all the powers. That was the weird thing that people, everybody really, most of us thought that was part of Buggy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
we did get some piece together. I think I had to play dumb and pretend that I didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
I think some people thought it
Weevil-
was Shiki.
Yeah. that's
Weevil,
also-
after all, is Latin for Buggy's jacket.
So
he
he did
also
have it right.
has this. He has the same exact weapon as Whitebeard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
said that. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's Whitebeard Jr. And here's Whitebeard Jr.'s mom. She says, "That's right, Sonny. The Whitebeard pirates were just playing family. The only son with the blood of Whitebeard, the strongest pirate in the world, is you, and that makes me the woman Whitebeard loved." And we see that this is once again self-styled Whitebeard's lover, and her name is Miss Buckin, which I took to be a reference to Buckingham, like Buckingham Palace, because in Japanese kind of starts off the same way. Her name is Bucking, and in Buckingham Palace is like Buckingham, and that is also like Newgate is also the name of a place in London, like Prison. Buckingham Palace. So I decided to go with that spelling. And she is absolutely tiny. She doesn't even come up to his knee, as you see in this little picture on the side. But she gets her walking stick and she's whacking him on the shin. Get it together, my treasure! And he's like, "Oh, that hurts, Mama." And she holds up a piece of paper and says, "Look at this. Is that a mirror?" "No, it's a picture of Whitebeard." "Oh, I thought it was a mirror." And she's like, "How can these two look so alike and not be father and son? Oh, what a fool." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mama." So already we get a very vivid picture of the relationship that these two have.
Just like Mama Fratelli.
I was going to say this.
Yep.
This relationship also reminds me, maybe this is just like a manga trope as well, of like the Boo and Bobbity or something like that, where you got the short person.
Bugsy and Mugsy.
Yeah. The short person who's annoying and bosses around the strong guy.
Yeah,
basically.
Like Mama Fratelli and Chunk then. Or not Chunk, Sloth.
Sloth, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She definitely looks like Bobbity, for sure.
She does. That's the
Got that
thing.
look.
We're going to reawaken Majin Buu. You said it, Mama.
It'd be really great in the anime if she was voiced by Joji Yanami.
That's Helsing's voice?
No, it's he originally voiced Bobbity.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna be doing that.
Yeah. Joey pointed out how bad he sounds.
Well, I think he's been hospitalized recently. Not to go too far off topic, but
Yeah.
Kaio in Dragon Ball Super. When he's angry, he's like, "No, Goku, I am very angry with you."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So One Piece. Hey,
Josh,
hello.
what's next? Yeah.
So, when you turn the page, we then get to see a little bit of what these two are up to, what their master plan is. So, Mama goes back into, tell me what it is we need to do next. Weevil's like, I forgot, of course. And so she unveils her plan, which is we need to search for Marco the Phoenix and all the remaining Whitebeard crew members, and find your father's treasure. So they're convinced that because Whitebeard was the pirate that he was, that there is some massive inheritance waiting for them, and they're the rightful heirs, of course, as their biological family.
That's the biggest tip. That's the biggest tip off that they're fake.
Right?
His family was his only treasure.
But so that's Mama's intentions, Miss Buckins, and Weevil himself, convinced, of course, that he is Whitebeard's son, or maybe he is. He has different intentions. He wants revenge for his father. So, he says, "Okay, I get it, but I got to get revenge too, right? I need to find Blackbeard, the man who killed my dad, and I'm going to kill him." And you see, he gets very, very angry, and cry and snot nosy and everything. So I imagine this is where he kind of channels his rage power and destroys entire cities, as Borsellino was talking about. And so Mama calms him down a bit and is like, "Look, you're never going to make a single berry if you seek vengeance. What we have to do is get this inheritance, get this fortune that Marco and the rest of the Whitebeard crew probably know about." So she mentions the fact that Doflamingo's recently been beaten by Garp's son, Luffy. I'm sorry, Garp's grandson, Luffy. And the fact that there was a connection between him and Marco and the other pirates during the war at Marineford. And so they're convinced that if they find Luffy will know where Marco's at, and they'll be able to find the inheritance. So, and off they go.
And we've got to have money.
Old fans of the podcast.
Did we ever make that reference on the podcast? I'm trying to remember. We might have just done that off the air.
That was like 10 years ago.
It's closer than you think.
1 week later, on the Mr. Luffy go, they're going through some very thick fog. They can't see a thing. And everyone's puking. How can you be seasick and still call yourself pirates? But Grandma said it gets better if you chew gum. That's why there's gum all over the ship.
I love
They're like constantly seasick.
I love that one panel. I don't even know, not panel, the one little bubble with just Luffy laughing hysterically at them.
So one of the guys sees something off at 2:00. Like it's either a mountain or a monster. What kind of monsters can be mistaken for a mountain? But it seems to be slowly moving. That's just because you're seasick. Luffy is very interested in this. He wants to check out the moving mountain. I also love that panel in the middle of Bartolomeo down on all fours after throwing up.
And I also would like to point out that readers of Nisekoi might enjoy the blurf at the bottom there. If anyone,
yeah, had to put one in there.
And Usopp says, our top priority is getting out of this maze, out of this mist. And he's like, if we hit a reef, we'll go under. And Law interrupts with one of the better, wait, God. Oh, yeah. Stroking Usopp's ear, goes, oh, it's so hard getting used to being a $200 million man, as Frankie sneaks up on him with evil intentions.
I like when Law says it like that. He almost sounds to me like a 5%er or something. Like he's in the Wu-Tang. Like, wait, God, where's Bond?
Wow.
You think he was being sarcastic? Maybe that how it would come.
I
across?
don't know.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, is that read like sarcastically?
I think so.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a mix, like, because Law gives nicknames to everybody. Like he kind of shortens everyone's thing to just a title, so it makes sense that he would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look what he says in like the next page, and I think he's kind of just like
it sounds like
sure.
he's being sarcastic. Yeah,
the Navy admirals are already on the lookout for you.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's hard. It's hard getting used to being a 200 million man. He's like, yeah, the naval admirals are all on the lookout for you. Anyway,
let's look at this
kind of like that.
beaver card going.
Wait. What's great is in that panel also Usopp is clearly getting beaten up by Frankie, as you got the sound effects. Yeah.
Right up there. Luffy and Robin are very interested in the Beaver cards going off that direction, so their friends must be up ahead. But I think this is Law saying this. He's heard that this place resists intrusion, with the heavy mist and the reversed sea currents. And they've got a headwind too, so they have to hoist the sails and man the oars, says Frankie. And they roger that while puking. What kind
also,
of
if you didn't notice in the sound effects, they're all going, yeah!
Yeah. Got it. Usopp is about to throw up for a different reason. And Robin says, need some gum? I was just ignoring reality.
That was probably the thing that made me laugh the most in this chapter was Robin's completely straight-faced.
You can hear Usopp's teeth chattering. He's covering him up. We can hear the rattle. We take out a wide shot and someone's like, what the heck is it? And Luffy says, is this the island called Zou? And everyone's freaking out. It doesn't make any sense. It's like Usopp's like, this is bad, very bad. Turn around. And Law's like, nope, this is the place. And Luffy's like, but Treffy, it's
a baby fucking wheel, kid. We're stealing some shit we ain't never seen before, bro. Jay, we gotta hook it. What the fuck is that? Holy shit, Jay. I think it's a tuner. or something. Holy shit.
There's like five people who get this reference, too.
I don't get it. You?
Oh, anyway, it's an elephant.
Oh, not the elephant.
It's
elephants.
Yeah.
I call him Stampy.
That's right. So apparently that's Zou. It's an elephant. It's the name of the place that developed on top of the back of an elephant, much like Discworld.
Steven, do you wish that you have called the island Elephant all along?
No. Well, it was kind of interesting because like Oda kind of pulled, I wouldn't say that he pulled a fast one. It was a very clever thing that he did, which is that he called it Zou way back in like early Dressrosa, right? That's when Law said, "Oh,
Punk
my
Hazard,
crew is."
I think, yeah.
Or was it Punk Hazard? It's
Late
like
Punk
my crew is on Zou, and at the time it was like, okay, well that sounds like the word for elephant. It wasn't in kanji, so you didn't know, but it doesn't fit his like pattern of naming islands, like because ever since. Like I want to say Water 7, like pretty much all of his islands have had like 2-word or like there's stuff that can be abbreviated into 2 letters. Like he had Water 7, Ennius Lobby, Thriller Bark, Impel Down, like Sabaudi Archipelago.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa. And so it's like Zou is way too short. It just doesn't really fit. But it sounds like he's saying elephant, and so you just think, oh no, it has to be something else, like that wouldn't be the reason why. And then all this time later you find out that it is elephant, and now like if you look at it retroactively when you see those scenes, like it's basically like Law's just saying, oh yeah, no, they're on the elephant, we have to go to the elephant.
Were
and
Japanese
then we find
fans
out,
as fooled as American fans were?
I don't know. I mean obviously they would have picked up on the connection more because I don't think everybody, I don't think like the people who were translating it were like actively going out there and saying, oh, it sounds like elephant, so it must be an elephant, because we didn't know until now. But I
mean, we discussed it a little bit back in chapter 795, I think it was. The suicide one, where we actually get to see them a little bit. And Greg had said back then that he thought it was a living creature, and it's like, wait, maybe it's an actual elephant, because that's the name, yeah.
Right.
But it's cool to see that's what it actually was. So Zou sounds cooler, but also, I mean, you can make that argument about saying anything in Japanese. So it's
true.
Or because it's just foreign to us.
I just want to say I love the subtle way that the elephant skin sags on the side of his body.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old fucking elephant.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out how old in a minute, but everybody's freaking the fuck out because that's something they ain't fucking never seen before, kid. So they question whether or not it's actually alive. And Law explains that it's constantly on the move. It never stays in one place.
Yeah,
it's not actual land.
Yeah, they're here, they're there, they're elephants everywhere.
Yeah.
On parade.
Yep, and you can't track the log pose, which is really interesting. It leads me it makes me wonder how anybody gets there in the first place.
Yeah,
I have a theory about that.
I you know what? I also have a theory about that. But let me finish this page. Actually, no, we'll finish the recap.
Let's finish the recap. There's only one more page after that.
Yeah. So Law discerns that if it's heading away from them, then Sanji's team might have gotten there long before they did. But, well, that is an astute observation, because he is absolutely right.
Yeah, they got there in a day.
Yeah, it's almost as if Law's been reading the manga.
I also like how weird it is that Luffy is sitting on his own hat.
Yes, thank you.
Panel. Yeah, his special seat. So they're preparing to disembark, and this is a really great moment where Law asks Bartolomeo if they can get some food supplies, and Bartolomeo's like, why would I help you? And he goes, oh, fine, well, you give Straw Hat some of your food. He goes, oh yeah, take everything, give it all to Mr. Luffy.
Steve.
And we see Kinemon and Kanjuro. Kinemon's just like, whoa, so this is Zou. So many odd and eerie things can be found overseas. I only hope that Momonosuke is okay. And Kanjuro just adds, I heard that Zou is home to some man-hating people, otherwise known as self-hating people.
Well,
that's
right. They're called.
Just
don't quit your day job, whatever that is.
Well, that's right. They're called minks. They've been keeping people away from their home for nearly 1,000 years. Wait, 1,000 years on the back of an elephant? That means that. The
elephants never forget, man.
Yeah, the elephant's been alive for nearly a millennium.
No, for at least a millennium.
Yeah, it looks like one of the god animals from Princess Momonosuke.
Yeah.
Princess Momo no escape.
Princess Momo. I didn't even get that right away.
That's an Odeon slip.
No, that was on purpose.
Sure.
Well, now it's not funny.
I've been sitting on that joke for like 60 seconds.
Looks like Colonel.
Waiting for everyone else to finish talking.
Looks like Colonel Hathy.
Does look like an elephant.
That's right.
It's a creepy looking elephant.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually gave me kind of a Toriko vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I should probably note this. Somebody on Reddit pointed this out, that there is an island, or part of an island in Iceland called Heimei Island. I have no idea how it's pronounced, but it looks exactly like that their panel.
Is it an elephant?
It's an elephant. Well, it's not an elephant. It's a rock that looks like an elephant, but it looks very eerily similar to that particular panel.
We'll put that in the description for you guys too. And you know what? You're right. That's cool. So why don't we go through thoughts on this chapter? I'm sure there's a lot to digest here. Why don't we start? Dude, you seem to have a lot on your mind, so I'll give you first crack at this.
Okay. This was a good chapter. I was kind of wondering about the new warlord, which is, I think, the real big real big reveal in this chapter, because I think we already we foresaw Zou having some sort of elephant properties given the water spout and its name from earlier chapters. But Edward Weevil, that's a character. I can't say that his design blew me away, but I think it's hysterical. And I don't know. It makes me wonder when he's gonna catch up to Luffy at this point, and what Luffy's going to think, because Luffy's dim enough to actually think that he would be Whitebeard's son, I think.
You said you wanted to say something too. I forgot what was concerning. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like how anybody could have gotten to Zou. When I thought about it, as I was saying that, that the minks, we haven't really seen them. We've only heard about them.
Maybe we have.
Yeah, we've seen at least one.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about, though. We've heard about them through the slave catalog, J. Pierman's slave catalog.
Yes.
But there's been fan speculation going on for a long time now about how the minks are animal people, like Beppo or Peckham's, and if anybody knew how to get to Zou, it would be mink, and Beppo is already there. So
it would have to be that last one you're talking about.
That's right.
There's just one thing that I just want to remark, that in chapter 795, I'm sorry if I'm running over someone, if someone else was going to say this, we saw that girl who was half deer or half something.
Lion, puppy, something.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty safe to say that
Jackal?
No, not Jackal. That's probably our first official mink, although we've likely seen many at this point. Josh, do you want to share your thoughts on this chapter?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Along with the unveiling of Weevil, one of the things that kind of stood out at me, which I had to go, I did just a little digging, was when Barcelona was talking about how many captains had been wiped out from Whitebeard's pirate crew, and it seemed, because when they said 16. I was like, man, that's a lot of people. And I started thinking of his crew and everyone he had recruited. And it turns out that he had roughly 16 captains that he appointed to different divisions.
Yeah, but
and then he had his
AO
crew.
But Captain AO was an affiliate crew.
Yeah,
it's like Whitey Bay is my always my example for this.
Yes, I was just trying to figure out how many are left in Whitebeard's. I'm confident that no of his top tier, Jozu or Vista or anyone, have been touched, but I was just, that kind of got me going. So I'm curious to see just how strong this guy really is and who exactly he's wiped out. Is it anybody that we really cared about that we're going to figure out later? Oh no. So yeah, that's super interesting, but I just want to find out more about him right now. And what's his deal? How strong is he? Is he a devil fruit user? If so, what's he got going on?
Joey.
Yeah. Going off of that, I am curious if he's just a strong guy because he's this huge dude with a spear, or if he just actually has fruit or something. He must have something other than just being very strong. Yeah, Weevil is definitely like in a good way, throwing a wrench into where the story was going. We were all, I think, very excited to get to Zou and eventually Wano, but we kind of had a track in mind of where it was going, and introducing a new ridiculous character and not entirely sure how he fits in with the whole storyline is really exciting. And yeah, I think that's the stuff on Bartolomeo's ship was hilarious. A lot of laughs, which is great. This in between arcs time is always a great time for that kind of thing. Oh, and then one last thing, and I'll let somebody else talk, is that I couldn't help but think, I don't necessarily know if it is connected or not, but like I couldn't help but think when they were approaching Zou and we see the like silhouette through the mist of those silhouettes after Thriller Bark, you know?
Yeah, it occurred to me for a second. But I think
Greg has some ideas about that, but I'll let him say when he is available again.
Oh, the rest of the elephants are over. Anyway, Steven, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a pretty good chapter. I didn't quite get into it as much as the last one. I agree with Joey that the all the stuff on the ship was super funny, and there's always kind of a limit to how much of that he's able to put into like the middle of arcs. So the sort of when stakes aren't quite as high and they're just sort of goofing along on their voyages. The sort of banter like that is always really funny, and this was definitely lived up to that. As far as the Edward Weevil stuff, I was kind of mixed on it. To be honest, like the design of him and his mom don't really do anything for me. The Whitebeard angle is interesting, and I really like that it's a way to kind of address like what's going on with the former Whitebeard pirates, because that's been kind of a mystery since the time skip. And that was cool to learn that they're kind of still out there doing stuff. But yeah, I'm not really sold on this guy yet, and I'm actually not really sure that this is necessarily going to play into Zou or in the near future. It might be more like a kind of a Big Mom's officer situation where you just get these kind of goofy characters who show up in one chapter, and then we might not see them for a couple dozen chapters or something like that. I'm not sure. They might play a part, they might not. It's obviously
could be a couple hundred.
Yeah, we don't have a lot to go on from this. All we know is that like many other people, they are now after Luffy. But yeah, the elephant thing was super cool, and really got me pumped to see what the deal will be with this new arc now that we can actually see the presumably the location of the next arc. That it's very different, and that's a great thing. And yeah, it should be fun.
Steve, I'm curious about your thoughts on this.
Elephants.
That's what I figured.
I really like elephants. And the fact that Zou and we were theorizing that the island was alive, and kind of glad that we didn't go with the obvious sea turtle route, and it's a freaking elephant that just gets up and just leaves whenever. It's awesome. So much great detail in those two panels with Zou. Other than that, I really like Bartolomeo's crew being totally unfit for the new world, and them calling grandma and saying, "Hey, rub sugar on the wound."
Oh, Gamby.
Gamby.
And then we were introduced to the last warlord, the very sexy Edward Weevil. Kind of to laugh. I'm like, oh my god, Edward is freaking Whitebeard's surname.
Yeah, it doesn't. I was thinking that too. I'm like, oh, that's backwards.
Well, in the One Piece world, since it goes by like kind of Japanese rules,
right? Yeah.
it makes sense because Monkey D. Luffy, Roanoa Zoro. It's just funny. But yeah, he is one. He's one ugly dude. And his mom's kind of funny. We've definitely seen this trope before in so many things, but never in One Piece. So I'm curious to see what Oda has in store for it. And now we kind of we've gotten a little more info now on what's happened to Whitebeard pirates and his allies since, and it's kind of going to hell a little bit, which should prove interesting. Other than that, some really awesome, funny banter here with like Law and Usopp, and like you mentioned, Robin with the "need some gum" line was great. Another really good chapter. Liked it. Really awesome panels. Some really cool drawings in this chapter, and that's all I gotta say.
Ed?
I don't think there's much else for me to say. I think everyone else has sort of repeated everything that I like about it, especially the humorous character building interactions with the crew and the general incompetence of the Barto Club pirates. But I just want to say that like this elephant's a real animal, like, and it's been alive since before the Void Century. Couldn't Chopper just talk to him?
That's you're also assuming they realized that they were on an elephant. I mean, who knows?
Well, I mean, I feel like at some point in this arc, it's got to come up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a week that they've been there.
Wait, are you saying that they somehow climbed this elephant without realizing that it was a giant elephant, like we see in the one panel?
Well, I know what Ed is getting at is that like Chopper could ask Zou about the Void Century.
But like Chopper wouldn't know that this elephant's 1,000 years old. So.
Wait, so you're saying Chopper's first thing to ask a giant elephant that an island is on would be, "Hey, what happened in the Void Century?"
But now the
elephant's like, "Oh, the Void Century.
Yes, let me tell you a story."
Elephants never forget.
So I assume this is the most verbose elephant ever.
Until the government comes in to kill him.
The right questions to ask.
You said too much.
Oh my god! Actually, this
is possible.
Where we find out about the Void Century, though.
I want to say a couple things.
Until someone shoots him, just like Clover.
Because I did want to talk about the Void Century thing, and this is the first creature we've seen or living being that has been alive since the Void Century. So as Dude said, it's possible. And we have Chopper, so it's possible. But I don't know how likely that is. It would be a really pleasant surprise. I don't know how it would come up. Hey, elephant, how's it going? How are things 900 years ago?
I mean, you're assuming that he talks, though. I mean, if you look at the last panel, I mean, he looks pretty dead, like in the face.
Well, there's two other things I want to mention. That's that he looks like he has been war torn. I don't know quite how to put it. He's been through shit.
I mean, as I said, he looks like one of the he looks like the boar god from Princess Momonosuke.
But his ears look like either they're just deteriorating or cannons have been shot through them. And if he is a remnant of whatever happened during the Void Century, and Ed, I know you and I have our super big theories about it that we talked about in the One Piece connection. Like, if there was some world-changing event that happened 800 to 900 years ago, and this creature survived it, it would make sense that it would look like he was war-torn and he's been through a lot.
Yep.
The last thing I want to mention is that it looks like there are skyscrapers on top of him. I don't know if it looks like that to you guys. I mean, there are clearly trees, and we were on Zou with Sanji and company. I think that's
it.
Yeah, those big blocks.
The prosperous metropolis up there.
Yeah, it looks like there's an actual city.
They could be
giant ruins, I thought.
Also possible. It kind of looks like a more modern city, though. It doesn't look like something we've seen before. And thinking 1,000 years of, I don't know if you want to call it isolation, but at least what was it? What did they? I guess they called it isolationism in Japan. But
Sakoku.
Sure. Which I'm sure we're also going to see in Wano. But I think it might be interesting to see. Look, we saw how Little Garden developed completely isolated. This. Maybe something very different happened here. I don't know.
What if the elephant is like wandering to the giant sea elephant graveyard?
Maybe.
It's possible. It might be like I think it's likely it's on its last throes. I think that might make this journey a little more meaningful. And also what happens to an entire people that live on the back of an elephant once that elephant dies. I would say, we're way smarter to have a more sustainable ecosystem than that, but we're not doing a very good job here either.
And have they ever stopped and thought about the elephant? Like, he doesn't want walking. Bring him some shoes and socks. I'll get socks.
Well, his feet have to go all the way to the ocean floor. Right?
Exactly. How deep is the ocean?
Some long legs.
Yeah.
He's like Robson from Drum Island.
Yeah, maybe he's like that.
Super long legs.
He's an elephant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Any other final thoughts? Anything we missed that you wanted to mention?
I like Weevil's Jolly Roger a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing I kind of want to mention. I agree with Steven. I was a little underwhelmed. Also, I feel like I've seen this kind of relationship in manga a lot, and so it kind of just
Ooh. That's what he looks like. He looks like Brownbeard.
He does.
Figure out who the hell he looks like. And I'm like, he kind of looks like Brownbeard.
He has the same eyes as Brownbeard,
and the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
All right. So what's from all of you guys, like, what's the likelihood that he's actually his son?
Zero.
Like, how are we going to prove it though? Like, they don't have One Piece Maury Povich or anything like that.
Well, they do have One Piece Martha Stewart, so they probably have a One Piece Maury Povich. I don't think he is.
Dory Povich.
I think they proved it here with everything he said to the reader. We know he's not the real son. Also, I think he probably is insanely powerful.
His bounty is 480 million, or former bounty is 480 million.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in how he got that and what his power is. I think more than anything. Because the rest of it is ridiculous. In true One Piece fashion. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little seasick, so I think we should probably... When will Dressrosa end? We know the answer now. And we have a winner both from you guys out there in the audience. But first, let's talk to our winner who is here today. Everyone, let's welcome the big winner of the Dressrosa contest, Joey Weiser. Put your hands together for Joey.
Yes, thank you. Oh no, please sit down. That's really too much. Oh, flowers. Oh, you shouldn't have. Thank you.
Joey, make your big speech. Yeah, go ahead.
All I had was thank you.
Oh.
That's all I've got on this. I've got a really long piece of paper, but I wrote thank you like about 700 times.
Okay. You don't have to read that all then. It seems a little redundant. So Joey won our contest, and as the prize, not only will he get to host an episode of the podcast, but I'm going to give him a piece of merch of some sort, which we have not decided. But Joey, if you want one, let me know what you want. Since he's going to be a good sport and host the podcast, and we'll also get him a better mic, since Joey is, I think, one of the few without a Yeti, as it was called by Christopher Sabat.
The Yeti.
Yeah, so it won't sound like I'm in a snowstorm every time I talk.
You sound fine, I think, but we'll make you sound crisp.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. I'm excited. At first, I even maybe mentioned this on the podcast. I did not want to win, but the more it came to look like that might happen. I think it'll be fun. I'm not going to do anything super drastically different.
No, he's going to do everything different. We're going to keep what he does a surprise. I think you kind of know what you want to do and who you want to have on.
Yeah, for a few extra little things, for sure. It's not going to be just a regular episode, for sure.
I'm going to edit it for him, but I'll edit it with him. So he'll put in his own music, and it'll be a Joey episode. You'll see it as if Joey had the One Piece podcast, and then you'll never want me back. It'll be perfect. We also have a listener who has won, and only one person picked Chapter 801, and we're going with that as the official one. We originally said 800 because we had not yet read 801. They actually sail away in 801. Dressrosa still is going on in 801, so I think we all agree here, right? 801's the number?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I only saw one person in our comments, as per the rules, and that is Huntress Fan. So congratulations, Huntress fan, everyone. Round of applause for him as well.
Yay!
Yay!
Who is a big fan of the podcast and is in Japan, I think, currently. So
He's written into the piece the tweet multiple times.
I believe it's a him, which we have also made that mistake many times here.
It is a him.
It happens.
It is a him. So we apologize.
I definitely recognize his name from Twitter.
I want to say that he helped get something to do with the new interview that we have on the website. Yeah.
So it works perfectly. He sent us some information before we were able to get our hands on the actual MOOC. So thank you so much, Huntress fan. You will be able to appear on an episode, not necessarily Joey's episode, but an episode in the future. Let us know when you are available or when you want to come on. And we'll also have another prize for you. We will let you know that in the future. I probably should have planned that a little further ahead of time, but welcome to the professionalism that is the One Piece podcast. So make sure you're available sometime Monday between 7 and 11. We'll send you an email or a tweet with more information on that. But congratulations. We should do this again with Zou. I kind of like this as the new contest. When will it end? I might wait a little while before doing that, though. So congratulations, Joey, and congratulations to Huntress fan. Anything else? Are you guys happy that Dressrosa's over?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yay.
Are you guys upset that Dressrosa's over?
No.
Oh, yeah, please, more.
Okay, well,
I feel like Bonnie might be related to someone in Dressrosa, so we can't leave till we find that out.
That sounds
Doflamingo's sister.
No, guys, we got to figure out what Rebecca's up to. Like, I have no idea what she's doing now. We should go back and see what she's doing.
Wait, don't Rebecca and Bonnie both have pink hair?
Oh my God, you're right.
They're the same.
We have to go back.
They're the same person.
We have to go back. This is the anime recap for episode 712, A Strong Wind and a Surge, Hakuba versus Dellinger.
Now, Ed, how many minutes of recap are there this week? I'm just, it's been like 3, 4, sometimes 5. It's something like that, right?
It's 6 minutes, 15 seconds.
Ooh. What?
6 minutes, 15 seconds. That is not good.
What a way to start.
Hakuba versus Dellinger is a little misleading. This episode.
A little.
Takes up the least amount of time of things that they focus on in this episode. The beginning of this episode, schmucks are they're flying. They're going flying from the attack that Gladius launched at the end of last week's episode. But what about Cavendish? I mean, things are going boom all around. We didn't see him get saved last week with Bartolomeo's barriers.
We thought he died. That's what the cliffhanger promised.
No, that's resolved in like first minute. Bartolomeo let him in, and now Cavendish is being all ungrateful, and they get shouty with each other, and their noses are touching.
Aww.
And Cavendish is just being a bad guest. Bartolomeo won't let him in next time. Robin is. Yeah, Robin climbs up the Robin stairs, and I don't know what it is, but it seems like she's animated oddly. It's like her running is weird. I don't know what it is, but it just seems odd to me. But Gladius tries to go after Robin, but Bartolomeo deflects it with the barrier racket, and then Robin winks at him, and he pops a barrier boner. He has fantasies about becoming her slave, so
a barrier owner.
Yes, his barriers do poses as well as he dances around, excited about the wink. Yep.
Barrier owner.
Cavendish charges at Gladius, but Bartolomeo goes after them both. He's pushing the barrier while he's trying to push them off of the platform. And honestly, he doesn't care about Cabbage at all. After letting him back out, he's like, I'm not going to let you back in again. So, whatever, dude. And Bartolomeo, I don't know if this means different in Japanese, but he is really high right now. Did anyone else notice this?
No.
It's like the feeling he has of getting the wink from Robin is like, I'm really high right now. He actually says this. That doesn't sound right.
Quoth Peggy Olson, I'm so high right now.
Indeed. So Gladius is trying to get Dellinger to join in on the on the party at this point, but Ideo isn't done losing yet, so he has to defend his pride to Dellinger. And Dellinger actually gets really creepy with him. I like the way his voice actor was characterizing that all throughout the episode, really. It's really good. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So basically, Ideo's got a hole in his stomach at this point. He's trying to play it off like it's just a flesh wound or something. But
he's not in good shape here.
Dellinger kicks the fuck out of him.
This is probably the highlight of the episode, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. It was good.
It's definitely good. Like,
it's gruesome.
Really brutal. It's actually bloodier than usual.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Ideo tries to take one last punch, and he doesn't end up hitting Dellinger, but he does hit his hat. It was a pretty nice hat. Oh my god! Nice hat. Anyway,
I got it.
Yeah.
So the Ideo tries for his one last punch, only gets the hat. The kicking continues, and Ideo, he's basically trying to delay Dellinger. Dellinger has no respect for a loser plan like that. That's the kind of plan a loser would have. He doesn't plan on winning the fight. But then Dellinger's fangs come out. Steve, how did you like Dellinger's vocal performance all throughout this episode?
He was great. Really got that tone of Dellinger's batshit insane, but now here's when he's just playing crazy.
Mm-hmm. I like Vampire Dellinger. He takes out Ideo pretty quickly. He's basically he gets blasted off again like Team Rocket for underestimating the fighting fish bloodline. And Dellinger heads up to level 3, but we do not see Mr. Anime anywhere. He's not up there, and schmucks are going down left and right. And Dellinger actually mocks Gladius for being a little too tense about the situation, and then he gets cut, and we get to see creepy face Cavendish, and that takes us pretty quickly to the ad break. We come back, and we get some music we don't hear all the time.
There was a lot of new music in this episode, actually, which was cool. Yeah,
and we see the slash on Dellinger's chest, and the blood spurts out of his body and stands still, as it does. Like in real life.
Exactly.
Yep. But Dellinger just says he doesn't understand this attack. He doesn't understand what happened. His eyes are going all cuckoo. And now I like the way they animate this. It's kind of a cheap shortcut, but his hand is just moving, and it's like a medium shot of him from the chest up, and his hand is in the foreground, and it's just moving in a very small circle, and that's how they animate his hands shaking because he's so angry, which I found amusing. I mean, I think I said either last week or a couple of weeks ago that I prefer moments of greatness to consistent mediocrity. What I was talking about not liking was this kind of episode. Because there isn't that much, there's time wasting in this episode, obviously, and it's a little more than usual.
I think it's also the content that it's given. This was kind of a fillery chapter.
Right, and you can't really extend the Dellinger Hakuba fight.
No, you can't really extend any of this is the problem.
Well, I'm saying the Ideo and Dellinger confrontation goes on for quite some time. It's the vast majority of the first half of the episode. I would have rather they would have done that with Hakuba, but the nature of Hakuba is you can't do that.
But Ed, the first half of the episode does not include 6 minutes. Remember that.
That's right. Still, it felt like the Ideo section went on for too long. But yeah, and he's like, "Who are you?" And you get a lot of time wasting right in this scene here.
I actually liked a lot of the stuff in this. I mean, I assume you're talking about the Hakuba stuff with.
No, it's just where they're showing him in a very long shot, and it's just this very long, "Who are you?"
No, but the thing is, I thought.
No, but there's just an extended 10-minute.
No, I know, but Bartolomeo
seconds.
had a lot of. I don't remember that. I wasn't paying as much attention though. I think I was watching it a lot more casually, more so than usual. I think Bartolomeo's voice actor did a pretty damn good job this episode. Especially with the line, "Is that Bartolomendish or someone else dish?" or whatever.
We're about to get to that, actually.
Yeah. But the whole, I thought he just did a very good job being Bartolomeo. He's a lot of fun in general, so I think it made it a little less torturous when they're killing time.
And at one point they do this really thick outlines on Hakuba's face, which is pretty cool looking. Yeah, he's basically just a dude with very thick outlines on his face and a very, very fast sword. And even, as you say, even Bartolomeo finds him terrifying, which is a justification for having an extended flashback of Hakuba in the Colosseum. I could have done without that. Slow motion panning shots of desolation and poor schmucks and poor Dellinger all laying all over the platform there, the plateau, and you get his face is very someone else-ish. What kind of a dish is he? It's not quite as funny as it is in the manga because it has to the joke sort of hangs there for a while, but and at this point I was thinking that Cavendish and Brooke should probably hang out because Brooke can make people fall asleep at will with his violin.
Oh yeah, that's a weird combo.
These are the idle thoughts I have when watching boring anime episodes. But fortunately for Bartolomeo, after Cavendish comes after him, Hakuba comes after him. The barrier is strong, and even though Hakuba tries to go up to the top where there's a hole, they can come down into it, and Bartolomeo twists it shut. And Bartolomeo explains his barriers in detail, as if we needed that. But now Hakuba sees Robin. Bartolomeo freaks out, but Robin actually does a really good job of subduing Cavendish, subduing Hakuba with her giant hands. Also, good music at the end of the episode, but that's really all that happens. That's the end of it.
It was an okay episode. It was kind of a meddling episode. You were right.
Yeah, I don't know. There were things I definitely.
I wasn't
did
offensive though. I don't think.
No,
yeah.
I was occasionally bored during this. I don't like saying that.
Me neither.
I don't like feeling bored during One Piece anime episodes, but I just really couldn't. I mean, there are a few good things, especially Dellinger's performance in this episode was pretty good.
Look, this is what happens when there's no filler. It middles the actual material. It makes the actual material feel crappier than it. Either it is crappy and it exemplifies the crappiness, or it just makes something cool crappy, which both are bad.
It's yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about this.
Yeah, there's just nothing. It's middle of the road.
Yep, pretty
That's
much.
all there is.
Let's move on to the next.
Kind of slow beginning, great middle, slow ending.
Ed clearly doesn't want your opinion, Steve. He's trying to move on.
That's
to the next
not true at all. I just forgot.
No, I know. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ed. Let's move on into the next segment.
All right.
This is the Piece Together segment where we take your questions, comments, and theories for the Zou. Why don't we get started on emails? And I apologize for all of the punnery. First one's a long one, but I thought it was kind of an interesting one here from Joe in Tochigi. I don't know if he's in wherever that is, or that's just his name. Anyway.
It's a prefecture of Japan.
Oh, it is? Okay, then it is.
Yeah.
He said he just finished listening to the latest episode, and he was surprised no one mentioned this. For a long time, there's been speculation about an eventual eye patch wearing character and when they'll appear. And this person believes it is Jack. And here's the train of thought. First, the one image we see is a close-up of just one eye. Second, he's got ties to Doflamingo's operations, and Doflamingo's top executives are all card suits, Heart, Spade, Diamond Club, and his underworld name is Joker. So he thinks Jack is intended to be a card reference as well, and he thinks he is the One-Eyed Jack. And for those who don't know what the One-Eyed Jack is, he gives a little bit from the Wikipedia article. I'll do it quickly, saying that there's the One-Eyed Jack and the Suicide King, denoting the King of Hearts bearing a sword through his head. And he says Jack definitely seems like a wild card by trying to take back Doflamingo from the 4 Marine ships. Additionally, Jack's ship also has a Kaido mark, so Kaido, aka the King of the Beasts, and the guy whose hobby it is to try and kill himself, sounds like a suicide king to me. And fourth and finally, I think Jack is going to be the most important player in the future, otherwise his name wouldn't have been mentioned back in Punk Hazard, and he would be trying to mess with the Marine ships. I wouldn't be trying to mess with Marine ships. He might be important enough to merit being the eye-patched man. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty well thought through. Yeah.
I mean, there isn't that much evidence for it, but it's logical.
It fits the thing. I mean, Jack does fit the card theme, and we may have mentioned that way back, but it's a good point. Any other thoughts? He kind of spoke for himself. I'm sure that's why.
Yeah, I guess all I had to say about that is that like Otis says that he's been saving the eye patch thing up, and it would be pretty neat if it wasn't just that he was going to take an existing character's eye, in a dramatic moment or something like that. If it was a new character that was going to have a major impact in the story.
He did do that with Whitebeard, but that was also half his face, and he died right after.
He didn't get a face patch?
And he did not get a face patch. Well, he did in the anime, but that's not for his mustache, though. This one's from Arthur, who says, "Man, Zou really has made me think about the beautiful locations in One Piece, or how beautiful they really are. In fact, the town, he points out Edward Weeble destroyed a town, and it was based on Lisbon, and he shows some pictures, and they look pretty similar. I don't know if that is on purpose from Oda. Sometimes those things are coincidence. Next question comes from Andrew. Do you think that Motabaro, Duval's pet bison, and Musi would be friends?"
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Who said no?
They're both friendly.
They were not friendly to begin with. They were friendly once they spoke with Luffy, or not spoke with, I should say, trained by.
Yeah. They both gone through psychological traumas.
Yes. Next one comes from James Welch. "I'm pleased to see Lucci and Spandam, and maybe Kaku, are not just for the reason of them showing up. It's the idea, because of the idea of CP0 there being another even more super secret, super special world government group higher than CP9, who was said to be the best of the best. Seem very weird and odd to me. However, if it made the former CP9 members that, would it make more sense? It would make a lot more sense. Do you feel the same?" So I think he's saying basically that since CP9 has moved up over CP0, or do you feel better about CP0 being bigger and better and more secret and more special?
I don't know. It always made sense to me that the Celestial Dragons would have an intelligence force that's above anything the world government can do, because it doesn't seem like the Celestial Dragons, doesn't seem like they even have that much respect for the world government.
Yeah, it's like the world government is kind of like the laws of society, but from their perspective, they're like, oh, we're the ones who rule society anyways, so we can have our own little special force that does whatever we want, regardless of whatever the government thinks.
Yeah. Another Greg, not Greg Werner, points out that Greg Werner, said that Luffy's 500 million bounty was not the same as Ace's, which was 550 million. Or he actually said, did I make a mistake here? And no, you didn't. Greg was, unfortunately, in a rare instance, incorrect here. And we'll make that...
Wrong.
We'll make that correction now. Ace had 550 million. But, out of this, something pretty cool is I noticed Ace's wanted poster, he makes the same, at least in that. I don't think that was his actual wanted poster, because it's taken from a manga panel and you could see the sound effect in the background. But he's making that same pose Luffy is making, kind of. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I think that was revealed at the exhibition, which Greg also pointed out he was the first one to see. So it happens. Let's go to the next question. This one comes from Ben, who has two questions. First, do you think that Roger's crew may be guarding the way to Raftel? Would be nice to show one crew passing the torch to another.
Well, I mean, from what we've seen of the people who were actually part of his crew that are in the story, they all kind of seem to be doing their own thing. So I don't know, unless it's like a particular group of them that decided to do that, it doesn't seem like that at the moment.
I agree. Second question, do you think you will ever get busy enough that you will need to go back to releasing 2 podcasts a week like the old days? We did do that for the read.
No, it's the opposite of that.
Yeah,
we'll never be too busy. It's if we don't have anything to do.
Yeah, I think he means will there ever be so much One Piece that you'll have to split it up again. I think we did it back then to keep podcasts under 2 hours, and now we don't care about that anymore, as should be clear to any listener. Um, so no, that's never going to happen again. The One Piece read through, we kind of did that. If we do something similar to that, maybe for a short, limited term, but do not ever expect that again. It is exhausting when you have a job and try doing that. It doesn't work. Unemployment is what made that possible. We're almost through here. Andrew has the next question. In Film Z, it was stated that the pirate who cut off Zephyr's arm became a warlord during the time skip. Now, personally, he doesn't think Film Z is canon, but if it were, which of the three new warlords, Buggy, Law, or the newly revealed Little Whitey, I like that, would be most likely to be the one that cut off Zephyr's arm?
Not Buggy.
Oh, Buggy.
But that
Buggy
was
all the
my
way.
original answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Nice, Josh.
I remember bringing that up during the recap of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
I would have thought Doflamingo.
Would it be great
Yeah,
if Buggy
it could
just
be.
accidentally did it? Like he wasn't meaning to, and then he runs away.
And then didn't he say he killed his whole crew too?
Oh, never mind.
Still, accidents happen, but
Yeah.
no, I think Weevil. I mean, okay, yeah, that's not canon. I'm doing air quotes, of course, but like it would be kind of cool if it was Weevil. The way that it kind of weaves the two lines together. Yeah,
I see what you did there.
He does have a blade.
Yeah.
I think Doflamingo makes the most sense, and especially when that happened, Doflamingo was the guy, so maybe they were heavily implying it because he's the warlord everyone was talking about.
Or Law could have just done it with his powers.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, it could be a lot of these. Pretty much
Everyone has slicing
Yeah.
powers.
Zephyr, it's okay. Calm down. You're not bleeding. You'll be fine. No, my arm.
All seven
My
warlords
family.
held onto a sword together and sliced.
There you go.
I think it's unlikely
Team
it's
effort.
not. Yeah.
What is this, Julius Caesar? They're all guilty.
Almost. We have 3 more left, but Eric has 2 questions. One podcast related, one Stephen Paul related. Let's do the podcast one first. He said, "What was the thought process behind the Jolly Roger on the website? I can understand the headphones since you guys might wear them while recording the podcast. That is true. Or people use them while listening to the podcast. Also true. Yeah. But what is up with the bandana? Steve, give people a little background about our Jolly Roger, if possible.
What's the deal with the bandana?
Or the Jolly Roger in general, and do we have an
Well,
explanation?
the bandana reps what crew we're from. Because growing up as a young podcast, it was rough on the streets.
We're the
of
OPP.
iTunes. Yeah,
Yeah, you know me.
There's nothing really to it. My friend John, who most likely if you see any of like the Jolly Rogers from One Piece, it was most likely taken from the vectors that he made forever ago. And we just came to him like, hey, we kind of need a logo, need a little something, and he was like, how about a bandana? Yeah.
Oh, I have a confession to make.
Okay,
I thought
Joey.
he was wearing a beanie cap, and that was another stripe at the top.
It's whatever your imagination is, Joey. John's logo I love, and we will never get rid of it. I mean, we'll have different iterations of it, but I love our logo, and I think he did a great job. He's also, as Steve put it, kind of the standard bearer of Jolly Rogers. I mean, he's the one who put most of them together for internet consumption, essentially. Though not to use
shitty T-shirts at conventions and
not to use for pirated material, no pun intended, but still. Second question is for Steven. Do you also translate Oda's author comments in the back of the issue of Jump each week, or does someone else do that?
No, I think that's someone in the editorial team, because some of them, like Alexi and Marlene, I know are both fluent in Japanese and have done translation work before. So I'm guessing it's probably one of them who does that.
Final question. is from Ben. So he says, I have a wild question. After reading this chapter, I think Whitebeard is Weeble's father, but Bakken is not his mother. Do you think that his mother is actually Jewelry Bonnie?
What?
I'm getting tired of Bonnie.
Bonnie's
I'm getting
everyone's
tired of Bonnie theories. I'm
Right?
just
But
no offense,
guys,
right? No offense.
guys, don't worry because Jinbei is going to join the crew soon.
Jinbei is Bonnie's mom.
Guys, do you think Bonnie, no, serious question. Do you guys think that Bonnie is the One Piece?
The one pizza?
I don't, we know absolutely we know next to nothing about Bonnie.
But
I
we know
ain't
everything.
saying shit till we get a little more hints.
Josh?
No, I agree. I mean, it's like we know nothing, but we know everything, right? I think in the end, it's just going to be like a big red herring.
You guys, Smoker and Zora have the same haircut, so he's his father.
No, it's it's something I forgot to mention in the manga recap. I'm very thankful for with Weevil. I already was really interested in him just because we didn't just see a panel like, oh, here's the last warlord. This is what he looks like. We already kind of got his gimmick, his shtick. We know what he's all about. We know what his motivations are. So I really gravitated towards this. I'm like, all right, this is something I could sink my teeth into. Like it's better than just seeing the character and then us. It's like, do you think he's related to Oars or Jewelry Bonnie?
Well, do you?
You know, just next to nothing. Yes, I do. I think that Weevil is Bonnie.
I wish.
I think my running gag now is just, who is Jewelry Bonnie?
I'm sorry, Ben. It's just that there's a lot of people
Who
before
are
you
those,
that asked
what
that.
were those strange figures at the end of Thriller Bark? It was Jewelry Bonnie.
Of course.
It's so obvious. Okay, Stephen, we got the One Piece Podcast Reddit, and we have questions on there. You can check it out at reddit.com/r/One Piece Podcast. What do we have first here, Stephen?
All right, I'm going to try to go through these a little quickly. Some of them are, repeat questions. But first we have White Bear Beppo, who says that in the English version of Volume 60, I noticed that on Ace's gravestone, his name is written as Portgas the Ace with a Z instead of Portgas. And you check the scan version, and it is spelled with an S in Japanese. So my question is, when changing the artwork, who gives the authority to change it? Oda, Shueisha, or someone else? That is the sort of thing. Now, I don't have personal experience with this, obviously, but like the rights to retouch artwork and stuff, I think is one of the items that, like, when they make contracts between publishing and, like between Viz and Shueisha in this case, that is negotiated, because sometimes I'm pretty sure that sometimes when working on certain projects, I've had my editors tell me, oh, we don't change the artwork here or in this sense, or in one sense or another. But it is allowed. That's part of the deal. I'm not, as for why they made that spelling change, I really don't know. Was that a 4Kids thing?
I think that was from it might have either been 4Kids, but I think it was one of the earlier decisions, because unfortunately things still, in order to maintain consistency in the Viz volume, some of the very early changes they make hold over.
Right.
Zolo being the most obvious of them.
Yeah. Ace was originally Portgas de Trace in the 4Kids.
In the 4Kids, so it's
okay. So it's sort of like halfway. They went halfway on it.
Yeah.
So this is the compromise.
Portgas.
Rogue Town is the most hurtful, I think, of the changes. Probably.
No, Mary Go for me.
Well, the Rogue Town, I know they actually touched
changes
up
the
art.
meaning.
It does, and they touched up art from Log Town to Rogue Town early on. That doesn't affect things very much at this point in time. So and Steven is also in the helm, so I can, we fully endorse the current version. Unfortunately, some of that stuff stuck from early around. I think Alexia said if they do a like a reprint of all of One Piece, that they may go back and change that, but I think that would be something in the very distant future.
I think that was also probably lip service, but
it probably was.
Who knows? Yeah,
there might have been a little facetiousness if I know Alexi at all.
Yes, he is a bit of a jokester. He also has another question, Whitebeard Beppo.
He has 2 more questions.
Boy, yes, he has a bunch of questions. Okay, but he says one thing to keep note of is that there are 3 samurais voyaging with Momonosuke. Kinemon went to Punk Hazard, Kanjuro was left behind in Dressrosa, and the third most likely went onward to Zou. The thing is, if he did go to Zou, the only reasonable way to get there is through a Viver card. So the question is, whose Viver card is he using? Could he be using one of Kaido's men, or maybe someone from Wano is on Zou? I don't know that that's necessarily true. I mean, obviously, having a Viver card is a big help. That's how Law and Luffy are getting there, because they have the Viver card of Law's crew. But I don't think that's necessarily I don't think that's a necessity.
I was thinking about this when we were talking about how one could find Zou, and wondering if there is some sort of like similar technology to Viver cards that you could make like a Viver card for Zou.
Oh.
For the elephant.
It's a living being. Why not? If you think about it.
Yeah, I suppose can't rule it out. Next, we have a question from Nerdy Perkins. Knowing Oda's love of the Terminator, do you guys think we could see the Revolutionary Army capturing and reprogramming a pacifista, possibly even Kuma himself, to work for them, similar to Arnold in T2?
I like that.
At least he's working off the good movies, the good.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be pretty cool. That would actually be pretty cool to see.
I think they showed in that DVD we were talking about from the beginning, from the MOOC that we have the interview for in the site.
Just to say, this is a magazine. It's Jump magazine. It's a specialized Jump magazine that came with an Oda interview and a DVD video tour of his workspace.
I've got to buy that thing. Although I don't know if the DVDs will end up working because the region.
No, it'll work in your computer. Your computer's a region-free DVD player.
Oh, okay. Well, I think they showed some of the Western memorabilia we were talking about. I'll see if we could tweet some of those or something over the next couple weeks. I don't know how much are actually going to be on the website, but it just kind of a note there. I forget if there were any Terminator merch. Anyway, you could keep going.
Next question, again from White Bear Beppo. This question is for Stephen Paul. That's me. On what days do you get the raws for the next chapter of One Piece? And do you get them before recording with the crew on the OPP? If you do get it before the recording, how do you feel when you discuss about the recent chapter on the podcast? Do you feel a little sad that you already know what happens next while others are trying to guess what happens? Or maybe you feel sad that you can't guess like the other guys? Or maybe you feel happy because you're one of the select few who actually knows what happens next? Yeah, I usually get the chapter from Japan before we record. It depends on the schedule. Oda has a bit of a unique schedule, so it doesn't always come in at the same time of week. Kind of depends on, he has his little cycle of chapters and then breaks, and it kind of varies depending on where he is in that. But yes, it's every time that there is a chapter in the next week, I have read it before we record. So sometimes I play dumb, sometimes I drop hints, sometimes I steer you guys away from the actual answer. I'm sure
that before.
I'm sure if you go back and listen to some old episodes, you'll catch some weird comments from me here and there. Sometimes it's frustrating just because, especially at this point in the arc where it's like every chapter is super exciting and has a ton of new information. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe, I'm just like tearing my hair out because I can't talk to anybody about it. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't feel sad like not being able to guess with everybody else on the podcast. I mean, it's interesting to see what other people are thinking before they have seen it for themselves. And you can kind of get a sense of like, oh, Oda really kind of fooled everybody here, or, they're all kind of on the right track already. It's interesting. Next question is from Zephyrus. I'm going to sum it up here by basically saying, what's the deal? Like, now that we finished Dressrosa, we had Sabo coming back, and Robin obviously knew Koala and Hack and them, but why has she still not mentioned any of this to Luffy, as far as we know, about the fact that she had met Sabo, that she'd met Dragon?
That's not what Luffy cares about,
I suppose.
Luffy was surprised to find out he had a father.
That is true. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that Sabo just wouldn't have let on to Robin that like he had such a close connection to Luffy. Because I feel like Luffy would have wanted to know that Sabo was alive. I mean, obviously, you know, I think the big reason is because like Oda wanted it to be a dramatic surprise when Sabo showed up. So
yeah,
that's the way he did it. But it is, I have always found it a little weird that there were no, you know, there was no, it's like a lost thing. It's like people don't talk about the things that you would expect them to talk about. But I don't know.
Luffy. I don't think Luffy's ever been that kind of guy, though.
No, he never talked about Ace either prior to meeting Ace.
That's true.
But like, what about now that all that's said and done? Like, Robin still has the chance to be like, "Oh yeah, we kind of did some stuff."
Yeah,
I started
Robin
to think about
probably
like,
should,
right? No one's really talked about their time away during like the 2-year time skip. Like no one's ever talked about their backstory to Luffy or like tried to, I guess they just don't do small talk. Are they like past?
Well, I mean, also
did a little.
Luffy went to sleep during Nami's backstory. He actively does not.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Usopp talked a little bit about like his trials and turbulations, like exaggerating probably. Slightly.
Didn't they talk about his father and the fact that he was with Shanks?
I think Usopp does talk. I don't think the rest of them really care, especially Robin.
Yeah. It just it seems like the main like Oda's general kind of policy on this is just that if it's not going to be part of the story that he's telling in at this point, then he just doesn't reveal that information, even if it seems like they would have done so otherwise.
What's next? Yeah.
Next we have a question from Simon. It looks like the Barto Club is going to be on board for the Zou arc. Do you think this means the other members of the Grand Fleet will each get arcs as guest stars?
I like that.
I don't think that's going to happen, mostly because the Barto Club is special in their devotion to Luffy in particular.
That's true, too. Yeah. They're special and don't know how to drive a ship.
I do like the idea of them kind of all those other guys, like at times, one or two members are here and there just kind of popping up.
There aren't enough arcs left for that.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's true. Next question is from Shy Guy. So if Disco, Vanderdecken, Satori, Stelly, Charlos, and Treble formed a pirate crew, what would their name be and what would their flag look like?
The No Pirates. Next question.
The flag would just be a giant butt.
Is it
pirates?
Farting.
Is it bad? I think Weevil would be in there too.
Well, give it time.
That's my initial opinion.
The completely useless pirates.
Also, do you ever plan to do any more ranking lists like characters, arcs, color spreads, volume covers, etc.?
I might as well address this here. We were kind of talking about it before we started the show. I think we're going to do our story arc episode in December.
You got a do-over from that one we did 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Yeah, that was the time skip, was it?
It was.
When we did that?
No, we did it.
Summer 2012.
I think we did it just as Punk Hazard was starting.
It was summer 2012 because I wasn't on because I was very busy with law school stuff.
Yeah, it was prior to OPP Japan and all that stuff. I think if we do it, it will be in the vein of the openings. We'll do it like that, and so we'll also get fan feedback, and we'll put a lot of work into it. It'll probably be an entire episode. I'll put it that way.
Hopefully before the end of the year.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of the last breaks prior to our season finale. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Next question is from Newfield, who brings up some of the theories that apparently have been discussed on the main One Piece Reddit and wants to know what we think. The first of the two is that Miss Buckin is Lola's mother.
No.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That doesn't... I mean, I guess maybe because she says that her mom was a big pirate, but I don't think that... I don't know. I mean, the Weevil was not one of the 7 warlords at the point that Lola said that, right? So she wouldn't have been that big of a deal at the time.
She's still not that big of a deal. He's a big deal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't Weevil one of the level 6 Impel Down prisoners? Wasn't that a thing that the last warlord was someone who escaped from Impel Down?
I don't remember that being said.
No, it was just he was the character who was previously mentioned before the speech started.
Yeah, that's all he said.
Positive.
Yeah. I like to think that at that meeting they were talking about how much trouble he was causing already.
Yeah.
Or what an annoying ass he is.
Mm-hmm.
The man
and the
will
other,
not be named.
The
Good,
other theory is that Weevil is not Whitebeard's son. A lot of people suggest that he's possibly not even properly human. Some speculate he is a creation of Dr. Hogback with or without Moria's involvement. I think I kind of addressed that a little bit, that his scars are kind of suspicious looking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's enough evidence to go on.
That's more likely than him actually being Whitebeard's son.
Yeah, it is more likely. Yeah.
I mean, it looks more like stitching than scars. I mean, especially his arm, right? Like he's just been cobbled back together.
His head, like, was he decapitated?
And if he was, how did he put it back on and live?
Yeah, it seems to me like the most sensible takeaway from it right now, based on this chapter, is just that obviously he's not Whitebeard's son, but his mom is convincing them that he is in order to harness his power for something. Like, it was a they're taking advantage of the lack of Whitebeard now to go after this perceived treasure, but that she's basically lying to him, or has like mocked him up to look like Whitebeard to convince him. Yeah.
What's next?
Let's see. I'll skip that question. Gentleman Bastard wants to know, it mentions the elephant being around since the Void Century. We did talk about that a lot. Question for me, in the Viz translations, I noticed that Zoro's name is translated as Zolo. Is there a specific reason for that?
We did discuss that, yeah.
We did discuss this in the One Piece read-through, the East Blue, the part where we were talking about a lot of the old choices for Viz. Basically, to sum it up as quickly as I can, they started off at the very beginning when they started translating it and publishing it in English. It was Zoro for a brief time, and then shortly after that, 4Kids got the rights to air it on TV, and that was a big deal because Fox, like Saturday morning Fox, it's basic. I mean, it's probably more viewership than like any point on Cartoon Network, I would imagine. And I believe that I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that 4Kids decided to call him Zolo instead of Zoro because they were worried about potential Disney copyright.
I think it also makes it easier for them to trademark that name and sell merchandise.
Right, that too. And, since at the time One Piece was new and, had no real audience of its own in America, Viz was like, okay, well, we'll go along with you. We'll do it. They didn't do everything. They didn't mirror everything, but they did a lot of kind of basic, stylistic choices that matched that in order to, kind of keep the two adaptations in the same line. And then 4Kids didn't, and it turns out in retrospect that it was not a big deal at all, because obviously Funimation hasn't had any issues. Unless, Josh, you want to tell us anything about Disney knocking on your door about Zoro? But
no, actually it's not an issue at all. So
yeah.
And just to say, the Zoro transition happened between volumes 4 and 5 of the Viz release, because I have first editions of both of those, or first printings of both of those, and that's when it changes over.
Okay. Yeah. And then since then, it's basically just been a consistency issue because, now there's like 75 volumes that have him as Zolo. And so it's a little silly to change it back after that long of a time. And, there are like Zach said earlier, there are other changes that have been consistent. Some little minor details, if they've been out of the story long enough, I have ended up changing either intentionally or unintentionally, because it's just not as big of a deal to worry about. And if it works better for when they get brought up again in the current storyline. So like, for example, I changed the Tentatas to little people from dwarves, because I just didn't, I don't know, dwarves made me think of Lord of the Rings or something, and they're not really that type of dwarf. Little things you can get away with, but one of the main characters' names it's kind of hard to change that after so much time.
Well, one thing
I have
go ahead.
Question to that actually. Bartolomeo's ship, that's another It's something else that carried over.
Right, and I went with the pattern because they had originally changed the going merry to the merry go, which I mean I can kind of understand that because it sounds like it's a play on merry-go-round, and going merry on its own, like it's not. It's kind of ungrammatical, I guess. It's a little weird. I mean, you get used to it. Obviously, everybody gets used to it, but that was why they changed that, and so I kind of kept the pattern for the Bartolomeo ship.
I was just gonna say, I think something else that changed was the god kind of stuff. I think.
Oh, Kami.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. I saw when Zoro mentions it in Thriller Bark when we did the read through. I think he just says God. I don't think I think they ditched that a little bit. I think even Alexi or someone said
right,
if that were
it wouldn't
today,
be a big deal.
That wouldn't be a big deal. Yeah. I think when he was on the read through, he said that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think with things like titles, like God and Kami and dwarves and little people, it's different than changing someone's like given name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the thing is, the Zolo Zoro thing, I think, it bothers you a little at first, but you kind of get used to it. It's not really such a big deal. And how many times does the name, and it sounds weird to say, but his name isn't like there all the time. It's not this like super oppressive thing. And it's kind of how you say it. It's the RL sound in Japanese is kind of similar.
It's an R and an L that kind of sounds like a D.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that covers that topic. The next question is from Black Northwind. Is Miss Buchan working with Blackbeard, or is she just that money driven?
She's just that money driven.
They've got to have money.
Yeah, I think that's it. It is interesting that she kind of steered him away from Blackbeard, but yeah. Given what we know about Blackbeard, that's probably for his own safety as well.
And also, Blackbeard, it's never shown that Blackbeard has money. Like,
that's true.
Money. If you're going to steal money, I mean,
well, he must have a huge bounty. That's the thing that confused me.
I wonder if like warlords can go bounty hunting like that.
Why not? Why wouldn't they be able to?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next question is from Met Wars, who asks, how does it feel to be finally coming to a new island after about 2 years? I know that I can't wait to see new story in Zou. Plus, I am really excited by the fact that Zou is going to be the first unexplored island in the new world, in quotes. I was looking forward to what would come in the new world after we previewed some of the islands right before the time skip, but have been disappointed that the only islands so far have been town islands, excluding Punk Hazard, which was a marine research base.
Dude.
Yeah, seriously, I'm so happy.
It's great, yeah.
I was getting serious arc fatigue like halfway through Dressrosa, so this is a nice breath of fresh air. I don't care, like I don't give a shit. Like I hope we like I don't care what we see. I'm just happy it's not Dressrosa anymore.
Any other thoughts?
It's really cool that it's like a new spin on an island. It kind of takes me back to like Sky Island as a thing that you weren't expecting to exist, or even maybe Fishman Island is similar to that. It's underwater, but like I feel like an island on the back of a large creature is such a unique thing that is different than just a cool story happening on a regular type of island.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so damn excited. That's it.
Yeah. Especially since, I think if you count Water 7 and Anise Lobby as one giant arc, that is still longer, but that was also two different locations that were very clearly split in half. And so it's not been like one single place this long ever.
And they were kind of, I feel like they were more groundbreaking in a way, especially Water 7 at the time. There was just so much crazy shit happening. And yes, Dressrosa has that, but it's also kind of your run-of-the-mill kind of arc, especially the second half. I guess so is Ennius Lobby, but I don't know. It's hard to compare. We'll do it at the end of the year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next question is from Tongari Dan, who asks, I just realized last chapter we see that Doflamingo's glasses are fixed now that he's in Marine custody. Did they fix them for him? Does the carpenter that can't go past a broken door without repairing it have an optometrist brother?
Minatomo-san.
Yeah.
How would you do a play on words with that in Japanese?
Minatomo. I don't know. I was just thinking of like lens crafters or something. But
No. Megane Tomo.
there you go. Megane Tomo. Very good, Ed. Next question from Black North Wind. Do you believe that Weevil has a really strong devil fruit power or perhaps strong armament hockey? I would personally like that he would be a really strong non-devil fruit user because Luffy hasn't fought many of those kind of people since East Blue.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's using a devil fruit at this point. So
Don't you have to be kind of intelligent to know how to conjure hockey, though? Like, it's hard for me to imagine that he has it in him.
Josh makes an excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First, Luffy was using the Conqueror's, King hockey on accident, so maybe he's got some intense King hockey.
I would have played it pretty close to his chest. I don't think we got any real indication of how he's kicking so much ass. But yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait for at least another arc to find out.
Maybe. Next question is from Zalumi. This is a podcast question. I've been wondering for a while whatever happened to the news and Toonami recap segments for the podcast. While I enjoy the news articles on the site, I also enjoy hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions on One Piece news. What's up with that, Zach?
So we do One Piece news every so often now. Although Fire Crouch's spirit clearly remains in the One Piece manga, it doesn't. He hasn't been around in the One Piece podcast in a while, so we haven't had those kind of news segments.
It's also the change in focus for our website. It has become quite news-focused, and it's sort of shifting our attention on news from the podcast to the website.
Yeah, and to be frank, William, Adil, and Allison, who head off our news effort on the site, have been doing such an excellent job that it feels very redundant when we do them. I like doing it, though, when there's big news. We kind of did it at the top of the show this week. And when there's a lot of big news, I will devote a segment to it. And
as for the Toonami recap, we stopped doing that when we got really busy with the One Piece read-through at the beginning of the summer. But
I'm thinking we could pick it up again
after the fillers end.
At the end of Thriller Bark. I'm thinking
at the end. That's gonna
not the end. The beginning of Thriller Bark.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of all of the.
Oh, you mean after
stuff.
You want to wait until after the Ice Hunters?
Yeah, I'm thinking that would probably make more sense since I don't know, maybe not. It's those segments. Unfortunately, it sounds like they don't take a while because it's only like a 10, 15 minutes, 20 minute segment. But we also have to watch the episode or stay up to watch the episode. I mean, luckily, Toonami now has a stream, so if you can't stay up late enough, you could go to, I think it's adultswim.com/Toonami or Toonami.com or something along those lines. You go to their video player and they just play it at points in the day. They'll rerun their block. So it's just been harder to stay up until 2:30 since that move.
Unfortunately, I have everything on DVD, and I was the one generally in charge of running that segment. So I think once the fillers end, is a good chance recaps come back.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, you made the promise, not me, Ed.
I think I do want to do those the Usopp returning, the end of post Denny's lobby stuff. So.
Has the Garp and all that stuff happened already?
Yeah, they did Michael and Hoikel. I think was this week.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I've never seen those filler, and now that I know Michael and Hoikel so well from the read-through, I kind of want to watch it.
Michael and Peikel.
I thought it was Hoikel.
I'm making a Rick and Morty reference.
Oh, I see. All right, Peikel. Forgot about Peikel. What's next, Steven?
Next, we have a question from Typeset. If Brook was punched like Ace was by Akainu, would anything really happen other than having an even bigger hole in his body? Is it possible that he could exist without a physical body indefinitely if push came to shove?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that we'll never find out because Oda specifically is not going to... he's not going to put the story into situations where you have these weird metaphysical questions about the nature of the powers because it's just a silly comic book.
Yep. I have nothing else to add to that.
Yes. And then the last one, we did kind of address this before. We had another person asking if you think that the elephant could be, if it's possible to have a Viva card of the Zou elephant rather than Law's crew. I mean, I'm positive that the beaver card is to the crew, because why wouldn't it be? But I don't know. I mean, I think we were kind of intrigued by the possibility that you could potentially make one of the elephant as a means to track it down.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to get its toenails, right?
Yeah.
We just
swim down there.
We just have one more part to this Piece Together segment, and that is, Ed.
Piece the tweet! Yeah.
It's time to take your Twitter questions, comments, theories. Ed, what do we got this week?
First one comes from sgamer82 on Twitter, and he is continuing on the Prince Sanji. He thinks fugitive prince is more likely than runaway prince or abdicated prince, but I mean, Sanji was working on the Baratier from what, like 8 or 9 years old? I don't see fugitive really working there.
Yeah.
I wasn't on for this episode, but I just would like to say I really liked, I think it was Greg, someone's idea that he just kind of looks like a prince. And so we have another case of mistaken identity.
I like that too. What did we say? If there were a kingdom with people with hearts for eyes, and he would be the prince of that. Yeah.
Where John goes from.
Where John goes from, exactly, yeah. That would be awesome. And it would fit everything together so nicely. What's next, Ed?
Next question comes from Worst Name Ever. Indeed. What do you think that a One Piece murder mystery would be like? The answer is not Water 7.
What?
Why can't it be?
Murder on the Puffing Tom Express?
I'd like to see a version of the game Clue that's just One Piece.
All I know is it'd be summed up by Luffy. And the camera would pan into him and he'd say, "You're right. It is a mystery."
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly solve this mystery. Can you?
You?
Well, it is my job. Next one comes from John Botone, who asks, which characters would you like to see in Burning Blood? Does anyone know what that is?
Yeah, it's
the fighting video game.
The game.
Oh, okay.
Everyone but you knew what the
Shut up.
All of
Zoro.
them?
Yeah.
All of them, everybody. Let's have them all. Especially
not?
Zoro.
Weevil. Too soon? I don't know.
They don't fall down.
Yeah.
Dellinger.
Really?
No, that would be cool. I was thinking because if you see the trailer that Bandai Namco put out, they focus a lot on Doflamingo, of course, right? And so it would be cool to be able to play as part of the Don Quixote family.
They focus a lot on these three brothers.
Right?
Yes.
Three brothers.
Three brothers.
I'm so fucking sick of the Don Quixote family. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Live in a video game, though.
I don't even care. I don't give a shit. Like,
Pika? Come on.
I'm done. I'm done with Pika. He's done.
Go in a corner, dude. Just cry yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
What about other family members? Like, what about
Senior Pink? That'd be great to be
What
able
about
to
it-
swim under
what about
people
his-
and stuff.
what about his dad? What about his dad? What's his name?
Doflamingo's dad, Homing?
Yeah. Homing.
You want to play as Homing?
No, just no.
Yeah.
No.
He'd
his
be an
dude's-
assistance character, obviously.
No, his dude's sick of homing.
Don't you eat this pie?
No, his dude's sick of homing.
I
I want to see if there's a Don Quixote family member, past or present, that he's not.
So
sick
this
of.
is why we're not
I
doing
don't,
this.
know, I don't know. I'm cool with his mom. She's dead.
This is why we're not doing the story arc ranking now.
Well, no,
we're
I
doing
like
it in
I like
December.
Corazon. I'm still down with the Corazon. I like that dude.
He's
Like
great.
the cut of
yeah.
his, like the cut of his jib.
That's still a great flashback. That might go as one of the. I don't know. When we do a flashback ranking, I'll determine that. But
What about
That's-
Treble?
That's actually a good ranking to do. We should probably do that.
at some point, yeah.
Here comes
How would Corazon work in a fighting game?
How wouldn't he?
Turns your sound off. Yeah.
he'd fart and you wouldn't be able to hear it.
Oh no!
Isn't that a cool
PD.
power?
Joey, why would you even ask that question? It's so
Shows
obvious.
my ignorance.
Yes. Ed, what's next?
The next one comes from Munchie the Panda, who asks, what is your opinion on the Marco is with Shanks or aligned with him theory? Personally, he thinks it's cool, but he doubts it.
They seem pretty similar. I think that would. Who knows? Is the
I don't know.
answer.
I don't think Marco has leadership potential, so
So that would make sense if he allied with Shanks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I have no idea.
I have
It's
my
been
doubts.
2
about-
years. I mean, like, sure, I'm sure he's a leader.
Yeah, but Marco doesn't do anything. That's the one thing we know about him. He does not do his job well.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think Marco got a bad rap at the start of the podcast because it was right in Marineford. And I remember that, like, you guys would get really confused because you were reading the scanlations.
Oh, they were so bad.
Yeah. And Marco has his speech quirk thing is that he always ends everything with an E sound. So when he says yo, he ends it with yoi.
Yoi.
Yeah. And yoi also means good in Japanese. And so these terrible it was like whenever he had anything negative to say, like, damn, I can't reach him, they would be like, oh, I can't reach him, good. And so it would just give you like the exact opposite impression of what he actually meant. And
Wow.
I think you guys got really tripped up by that once or twice.
Oh my god!
I might need to go back.
You
and
just
look
blow
at
your
that.
guys' mind.
Yeah.
Well, when we did,
Granted, I honestly didn't hate Marco as much doing the read through.
yeah,
And that was the
Mm,
first
so-
time I'd really gone back to that material.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true that, obviously he looks really cool and everything, but because of what Marineford was about, like he wasn't able to save the day or, show like really potent displays of skill. So, I mean, I guess there is some element of like, yeah, he didn't really come off looking that great, but the translation did not help.
Well, I think that's a good example of like scanlations kind of ruining the experience because he's very popular in Japan. And he's very unpopular, I think, in the United States. And that might be part of the problem, or abroad, I should say. I don't know how he is in Belarus or other countries. Ed, what's the next question?
This is a multi-part question from Yonko Abs. He asks, the 1,000-year-old elephant obviously ties to the ancient kingdom from 1,000 years ago, so do you think we will get a Joy Boy flashback or a shocking reveal from a poneglyph? Imagine if Luffy could hear the elephant's voice like he was able to hear the Sea Kings in Fishman Island. And finally, I think Zou will be relatively short, but amazing, like Sabaody. Do you agree?
It's amazing.
I like
Right.
all of that.
That's all great. I like the idea that Luffy would be the one to talk to him. We mentioned Chopper
Instead of
potentially.
Chopper.
Yeah. Although Luffy's even less likely to ask about the Void Century. Oh,
Right.
hey, how's the Void Century go? Or how did the Void
Hey,
Century
do you
go?
poop?
Likelier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Ragati3211. Do you guys enjoy any other shonen series besides One Piece and DBZ? Granted, I watched like the first couple hundred episodes of Bleach. I think I watched a lot of the first series of Naruto. I've read a lot of Rurouni Kenshin. So it's a lot of classic shonen series, but not recently.
I don't tend to collect lots of shonen series just because they tend to go on for a long time, and I try to be judicious about what I will have on my collection because I only have so much space. But in terms of like Jump series right now that are running, I do really like both Assassination Classroom and Food Wars.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
think
I've
they're
actually
just-
been watching that Assassination Classroom anime. It's really good.
Yeah, I think they're both very entertaining, and I enjoy reading them on a weekly basis. But I don't really do it for any other series right now.
Is One Punch Man count?
Oh, and My Hero Academia, I like that one too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, One
My
Punch Man
Hero's
counts.
good.
Okay. I think that's the main one today that
Yeah, and I haven't been reading One Punch Man, but I watched the first episode of the anime, and it looks great.
I read and watch. And yes, I mean, what studio is it again?
Madhouse.
Madhouse, yeah. There you go. Anyone else? Josh, you probably
Yeah.
watch a lot of anime.
I do, right? So I watched a ton of Naruto back in the day. It kind of lost me at Shippuden, so I didn't keep up.
Me
with it
too.
after
Me
that.
too.
Yeah, but original Naruto was great. Watched a ton of Bleach. I
Back in the day,
love-
me too, yeah.
love Food Wars. Toriko. I've seen. I saw all the ones that we put out at Funimation, like the first 50, just because I worked on it briefly. But I did like it enough to read the manga, and I kind of I fell off of Seraph of the End, the manga. So I was working on that for Funimation as well, and read some of the manga. And,
That's
and
been doing very well, right?
Oh yeah, totally. People love it.
I should probably try it at some point. It's been in Shonen Jump, and then I see it, and it's like, oh, people like it.
Yeah, the anime takes a little, to get into, like in terms of ramping up, but once it hits its stride, it's pretty awesome. And the second season just started.
Cool.
From the anime, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share their shonen thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of Shonen Jump these days, but yeah, Food Wars and My Hero Academia are probably my favorite of what I read. An older series that I like a lot that I think qualifies as shonen is Kitaro, Gegege no Kitaro by Shigeru Mizuki. Most of the stuff that is available in English is stuff that's intended for older audiences, like his war biographies and stuff. But
how long has that been going on for? Like Gegege no Kitaro, when did that actually start?
Well, it actually was originally a kamishibai, like a paper theater thing, a long time ago. But like he's been doing that manga since like the 60s, I think, maybe 50, late 50s. Yeah, and there's one collection of it out in English so far, but next year they're going to start publishing I think like 7 or 8 volumes, which is really exciting. And they're going to be aiming it more at kids, which I think is the right move. So that's going to be great. It's like ghost stories, I should say.
Shonen. I like Dragon Ball. I don't know what else counts. Did Lupin count ever?
Not really.
No, I think isn't that is it Seinen? Is that the other one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
JoJo, I guess, is cool. I'd consider that shonen.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 15 years of it ran in Weekly Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think it's in a monthly magazine now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's like Ultra Jump or one of the other the older Jump ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess thinking on it, I don't really I used to like everybody else, I used to read a shit ton of Bleach. I was really big into Bleach up until the Arrancar stuff.
Yep.
That's when I fell off.
Pretty much.
It. That's when because he got lazy. You could just you could feel it.
Like it sucks because I had jumped ship like right after Ikaku went Bankai, and which was cool because I loved him as a character, but then I just sort of lost interest in the series after that and stopped. And I never really read Naruto. I think I read up to the first Chonin exam, and I stopped. I don't like Naruto.
Yeah, I've never.
Dude, that's where it got good.
I tried to watch it. I just got bored. It just
I liked the characters for Naruto, so I even watched a lot of those those filler episodes. I watched a lot of the anime back in the day.
I've read all of Naruto. I read it through to the end, but those last few years was definitely more out of obligation and kind of just wanting to know because I'd put in so much time already.
My son is also named Bort.
Yeah. Bort is kind of one of the best things that happened to that series, in my opinion. It just felt like that last, without getting too much into it, that last chapter felt like what I liked about the beginning of Naruto without before it got all sort of mucked up.
Steve, you've been quiet. Do you have any shonen series that you follow?
Everybody's named all of them already.
I mean, I'm surprised no one said Yu Yu Hakusho at any point.
And also just to say that when I mentioned Kenshin, I got into that because Oda was an assistant on it. That's why I started reading.
Oh, really? Yeah. Not because of Toonami or something? Oh, yeah, you weren't even into.
No, I didn't really watch any anime between the ages of 12 and 18.
That's the core demo.
What?
Yeah, it is the core demo.
I watched DBZ and I was watching Toonami up through the year 2000. I was 12 or 13 years old.
That's when I started at 2000.
Yeah, no, but then Zach got me back into anime in 2005 when we were roommates in freshman year of college. I hadn't watched anime for 3 or 4 years at that point.
And I got him really into it.
Well, that and also the person I mentioned last week who gave me my first volume of One Piece.
I was dreaming about Vegeta and how cool he was, and not to worry about Goku.
Zach, I'm surprised you're talking about how you talk in your sleep.
Okay, let's stop talking about this.
That's totally on an episode of 20 Minutes of Bullshit. It's called Vegeta's BFF.
I forgot about that. Forgot you named an episode after that. What's next, Ed?
The next one comes from Gamer305, who asks, do you think that this ancient elephant will cross the new world eventually, or do you think he already did it within the last 1,000 years? I think we already know that, finding Raftel requires more than just sailing to the end of the ocean. I think that's already been pretty set ahead.
What's that have to do with an elephant?
He's just wandering, I think. Is he going to reach cross the new world? I don't know.
When I was that sort of, little bit of time that I spent thinking about those silhouettes at the end of Thriller Bark, the question did, cross my mind, would he be able to cross the red line? I
don't know if he's big enough to cross the red line.
It's what Joey said. I don't know. I don't know if he would. Maybe he swam down to Fishman Island.
Captain Bolton also asks, could Jack be a code name like Joker? This would follow the theme from Dressrosa, but not sure how it would fit in with Kaido.
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yep. Next question comes from Steve Rolfson. How do you think the Straw Hats will get up to Zou? You can climb up the tail. Maybe Frankie will use his Kudabu. And also for Josh, is there any news on Season 7, Voyage 4, or Season 8? And I don't think there is.
All I can say is we plan on having Voyage 4 out by the end of the year. So you have that to look forward to. And then, in terms of Season 8, nothing just yet.
Definitely pick those up. We're getting to good stuff here. I think Impel Down is...
Impel Down.
Yeah.
I actually just got my Season 7 Voyage 2 last week. I haven't finished watching it yet, but the first commentary with Lucy Christian on it is pretty good, and she doesn't get to be on that many commentaries because she lives in Houston.
And Voyage 3 is at the end of the month, right?
October. October 27th. I believe.
Okay.
Yep, that's with all the when the Straw Hats are dispersed. So
we got that to look forward to as well. Yeah, this is.
And there you are, my love, waiting for me.
Okay.
Okay. Next one comes from Dark Leviathan, and he says, "I bet Steve is happy with what came out of Zou. Also, you think there is a poneglyph with the Mink tribe?"
Steve, are you happy first?
I am happy.
Are you happy? Hashtag Kareha.
So what about a poneglyph on the back of the elephant?
I would love that.
Why not?
Well, I think it would fit perfectly here.
It's precisely the kind of place that should have a poneglyph when you think about it, because it's a place that isn't under control of the world government.
Poneglyphant. No.
Nice.
There you go. All right. Adam asks, "Where's my elephant?"
Ooh, I like this song.
Also with the profile image of Homer. Benedict Johansson asks, "Who do you think will be the next antagonist? Jack, Whitebeard Jr., or someone completely else?" What's his face? Bighorn Longhorn? I've been calling him
Longhorn? You're mixing up Foghorn Leghorn.
I say.
Which one is it? I forget.
Sheep's head or whatever, right?
Sheep's head, there we go.
Sheep's head or Bighorn Longhorn.
It's a joke, son.
Well, now we have
Luckily, I keep my feathers numbered for such an occasion.
I'm pretty sure I actually called him Longhorn on last week's episode.
You did, yeah.
Talking about.
And now we know that Kevin Spacey will be playing the part of Sheepshead.
But so who do you guys think will actually be the next antagonist?
Kaido? But I guess
I think everything is going to be like Kaido by proxy.
They did set up that the mink hate humans, so perhaps there will be a mink antagonist.
Maybe, but if Eppo is a mink, that could be smoothed over.
Yeah, true.
Well, I could see the Zou, the minks being the false antagonist, kind of like what we had in Amazon Lily, where Luffy had to fight all those Amazons. What was the name of the tribe again? Kuja, thank you. Had to fight the Kuja pirate and the Kuja folk. And I could see the same thing happening with the Minks, where the Straw Hats are put in a bad position, but work their way out of it and become allies, like usually happens.
Yeah. I feel like there isn't going to be a big bad guy in this arc. Whatever is going to be next, the next one of those, the next,
this guy
Arlong, Eneru, Lucci, that type of character.
This guy, I don't think whoever's the antagonist is going to be even bigger than Caesar was. Like Caesar was a setup for Dressrosa. I don't think it's going to be even that long.
I don't think there's. I agree with Steven. I don't even think there's going to be like a real antagonist. I think this is just going to be a fun arc, which I hope it is. A fun, shorter to medium-sized arc, and then we move on to the next one. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right. Deoxy360 on Twitter asks, since Zou is based on the Hindu myth, I honestly don't know what he's talking about here. What other giant animal islands would you like to see? Like something like a lion turtle? Is this the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? It's turtles all the way down.
Well, Discworld is a giant star sea turtle with 4 elephants on its back that carries the Discworld.
The disc, yeah. Yeah, I did kind of think of that when we saw the elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Did remind me.
Does anyone else have a theory? Does anyone know what this Hindu myth he's talking about is?
I'm looking it up on. I don't want to even say it because there's a lot of elephant myths.
This is apparently something that we're supposed to know via common knowledge. So,
well, we probably should but we're Americans, so
people should write in and inform us.
Please let us know. I'm sure we have. I'd imagine some Hindu listeners who could fill us in here. I'm always interested in that stuff.
Please do not offer my god a peanut.
Dad, those peanuts aren't for you. They're for the elephant. Screw him.
God, I didn't realize how many Ganesh jokes there were in The Simpsons.
You are not Ganesh. Ganesh is graceful.
Oh, man. All right. Next question comes from Milos, the creator, who asks, it looks like we might be seeing Marco again later on. Does this mean we'll get a return of the Marco Butters voice?
Oh, boy.
Maybe. The ability to do my Butters voice has diminished in the last couple of years, but let me see.
Edward Weevil, who's that guy? I don't even know. He says he's Whitebeard's son. That's ridiculous.
I think we're ready.
Yeah, I think we are. We're all ready to do that. So let's hope Marco shows up again at some point. I guess I don't know, for somebody's sake. I don't know if it's mine, yours. Who knows? We'll find out next time on One Piece.
Maybe in 1.5 years or more. I don't know. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
What's next?
The next one comes from Skills, who is calling it. This is more of a comment. He's calling it before we get on Zou at the end of the arc. There's going to be a poneglyph.
Why not at the beginning?
I hope he's right.
Yeah.
This isn't a question, but Persian version on Twitter posted a picture of an egregious scanlation and said, I got an official Shonen Jump subscription after I saw this in the scanlations. So
would anyone like to voice this or no?
There was
if only we had someone that was Usopp on this.
That's probably the oldest One Piece podcast reference on the show. No, I don't think we need to go into what it is, but it's pretty bad.
I think we have said one of our...
We made reference to it during the manga recap. We can say what the line is.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
Words.
I think we've made reference that the worst offense a dub could make, or in this case a scanlation could make, is referencing the real world in a fantasy world.
Yeah, I think the 4Kids One Piece dub at one point in Zoro referenced Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, it's interesting because I haven't read the scanlations in a long time, and when I saw that panel, the thing that I thought was that what I remembered of scanlations was that they prided themselves on being very literal and not and sort of hating dubs and stuff for localizations. And looks like the tides have turned.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Steven's the one defending. Maybe you should start writing Shishibukai and Yonkao.
Yeah.
What's Japanese for Martha Stewart?
Masa Sturato.
All right. Next one comes from Gustavo Padilla, who asks, will the giant elephant die at the end of the arc?
That's what I said.
He looks. That looks accurate, just by looking at him.
We should call, when we get to that episode, we should call it Operation Dumbo Drop.
Okay, fans, remind us.
Maybe there'll be.
I'd be done seeing about
Maybe-
everything when I see an elephant island die.
Well, I mean, if we're heading to the elephant graveyard, we gotta watch out for young lions.
Maybe
Oh
there'll
my
be a magical, like a mink fortune teller who's like, oh, the man with the straw hat, he's going to kill the elephant. And then,
Oh my
and then there'll be
God.
no dead elephant at the end of that.
Yeah.
He'll crash the elephant into Fishman Island.
Now that I like.
Wow.
That I like.
All right. Next two questions are from Frank Savaka and Mikamot, and they basically ask, what do you think is going to happen? What do you hope for Zou, and how long do you think it'll be? Was it a temporary stop or a longer arc?
I think we were unanimous in temporary stop.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
At least my fingers are crossed there. I mean, I can't do another long arc right now.
Mikamot actually says that he wants a Skypiea-esque adventure story with the exploration of an exotic location.
I want that, except Little Garden.
Yeah, combine
Yeah,
those two.
right.
Yeah, I don't mind if it's like a little longer than that, because those arcs were really, really short. I don't mind like a 2 to 3 to 4 even volume adventure here, but much longer than that, and I'm gonna get a little antsy again. I'm very excited to see what's next. Don't get me wrong. An adventure on an island of elephants with a bunch of animal people sounds like a perfect arc for me. If you were asking me to pick things out of a hat. But at the same time, Dressrosa it's
Yeah.
I don't want to like make Zou suffer for Dressrosa's sins, but I am.
Next question comes from Mosasaurus, who asks, New York Comic Con meetup outside of the convention? Yes.
Yes. If you want to if you want to RSVP, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/One Piece Podcast.
Our very own Brian Newton also asks, so how are we getting up to Zou? And how long is the elephant's legs? I say climb up the tail.
That sounds like it'll piss it off.
Hey, I mean-
don't elephants have like really short tails though?
Not that short.
Well, it was in the
Yeah.
it's in the page.
Is it low enough?
They're
I mean,
not
Rob
as short as
is-
hippos.
And Robin
tails.
can always just, extend her arms with the thing.
That seems complicated.
She has to lift all that.
Ooh, what I want to know is where the sunny is. If that island doesn't stay in one place for very long, unless they could have
I
burst
think
it up there.
No. When you see in chapter 795, the rope goes into the fog, so I assume they tied it to a leg. Somehow.
Huh.
I assume. I don't think it was like an anchor.
Well, no, I think that I would assume that the elephant was sitting down or something when they embarked upon the island. I don't know. I don't know, man.
We'll find out maybe next week. I don't know, Steven? No, I'm not going to put you in the spotlight like that.
Tell us anyway.
No, I know.
This is all very interesting.
Next question comes from Allison T. Meowth900, who asks, I wonder if the 1,000-year-old elephant can tell the Straw Hats what the One Piece is. She's on
No.
the
Go back to Saba Odi and watch the scene with Rayleigh.
I think she's joking.
No, but that was an old man
I
telling.
can't tell. It's the internet.
That was an old man telling an adventure. What about a giant elephant telling?
It's like, no, I don't want to know what the One Piece is. It'll ruin the adventure. Well, you're a giant elephant, so okay. That's different. Thank you, Mr. Elephant. Okuli dokuli.
Next question comes from Pongzilla, who asks, does Zou poop?
Yes.
It has to.
I mean,
Operation Dumbo Drop.
that's how we get Nani Manai Island, right?
Look, there's
Giant
only
goldfish poop.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only one thing I learned from movie 7, and that is that I think didn't the turtles poop too? Isn't that something that happened too in movie 7? Did anyone
Everything
watch
went-
movie 7?
Everything in One Piece poops,
That's true.
for
especially
mermaids.
skeletons
Especially
and especially mermaids.
Especially bought.
Especially Bart.
Dark Leviathan asks, so this Whitebeard son is like the Boo of One Piece, right?
Okay, I'm not the only one who thought
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of people thought that. Ricardo Rodriguez asks, when they get on Zou, where will it lead them? Or rather, where will Zou take them?
Oh, see what he did.
It's
there.
interesting. Like, where do you think they're going to go? I still think they're going to Wano after the arc ends, so it doesn't really matter where Zou takes them.
But
Yeah, I think Zou just kind of wanders around. I don't think he has like a set path.
What if he accidentally steps on Wano?
That's actually possible.
Oops. I guess there goes that arc.
Then it'd be Guano Country.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. All right, time to move on after that one. Kaizoku Ruffy asks, Frankie seems pretty mad about Usopp's bounty. Do you think Sanji will be similarly upset since it means so much to him? And now that Usopp has, 23 million more than him?
I think at this point, the only alive thing is going to be the focal point of Sanji's bounty poster.
Mhm.
That's a good point, yeah.
I agree. I don't think that's going to be that relevant. I like the Frankie Usopp rivalry that's building.
Yeah, I like that.
That's funny. Yeah.
Ariare asks, do you guys think we can have more poneglyphs somewhere in Zou? Yes.
Yes.
Everyone's saying that. I'm glad it's Steve.
Venatophile also thinks that the Zou is related to the shadows after Thriller Bark. I think we've said that. And finally, not finally, there's quite a few more actually.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
Our very own William asks, of all the Straw Hats, who would you most like to see squanch in this new arc?
Well, it's
Ew,
contextual.
that's disgusting. That is disgusting. What a disgusting question. You should feel ashamed.
What's next?
Squanchy is that's like a snarf thing. It's like contextual, right?
Yeah.
So it could be anything he wants. So, yeah.
But it's disgusting, and really, you should be ashamed of yourself, William.
It's not that kind of manga.
Usually.
Unless
we're talking about diamond penises, then it's totally that kind of manga.
That's only in the SBS.
Yeah, okay, that's true. What's next?
Doodoo. I always read this person's Twitter handle. Doodoo Magoo asks, why would the world government let a pirate that claims to be Whitebeard's child become a warlord? Because he's powerful. I mean, they say it in the chapter.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the only thing that matters, really. Bartolomeo 29 wants to ask, I assume Josh, any updates on the older movies?
Nope.
Did we mention Josh was just here to talk about the manga?
It's fine. Feel free to ask, but yeah, still trying. The new movie's kind of thrown us for a loop because anytime new content comes around, we're always going to chase after that first. So right now, I'm kind of working on figuring out how we approach this and things like that. So old movies kind of back burner for now.
Mm-hmm. Just to be clear, you know exactly the amount we know about the new movie.
Yeah. I was joking with Zach about that. I'm like, everything is just so secretive right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
all we know is that it is coming out next year, and we are going to try to do our best to get it out as well. So
But that's not soon enough.
right.
Would it be?
Although, as I say, movie 6, you can just put a big sticker on the front that says "From the director of Summer Wars."
That's true. But I want to ask, since the movie, I mean, you've worked on Resurrection F, which did insanely well. It was one of the top 10 anime movies of all time. Would you consider trying the One Piece in theaters thing again with the new one?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Nice.
That's hands down. I can practically, without getting killed by people here. I could honestly say that if we do get the movie, or when we get the movie, it will have a theatrical release. Just the fact that we've ramped up our theatrical division so much. And, with the success of Dragon Ball Z, and me attached to it, it would definitely get its time to shine. Granted, not, 1,000+ theaters and whatnot like DBZ, but definitely a pretty decent run. Because
maybe similar to what the Attack on Titan live actions have been getting.
Yeah, you guys will be waiting for the day, for
Oh, God.
One Piece to come out, and it'll happen.
I can't wait for that day.
But no, yeah, it's definitely top priority for me, for sure, and I'll make it happen. So
Awesome.
Nice.
it'll be fun. Yeah, another big thing is I'm constantly looking for milestone moments in One Piece that we can kind of rally behind to kind of grow the fan base and stuff like that. And a new movie in a theatrical setting, that's everything we need.
Yeah, let's just hope it's a good movie. I think that'll really help.
Well, we've had a good run.
We
last
have
couple movies.
It's been
sure.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, the last 3 movies have been pretty good.
Yeah, 9 was a great one too.
I'm glad to hear that the technical snafu has not dimmed your appetite for putting them out there in the theaters. That's good news.
No. That stuff's gonna happen, man. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually, this and now we come to the last piece, the tweet, end of the piece together. But this one comes from Orewane on Twitter, who asks, Lola's mom, Miss Buckin, they have the same little bowler hat.
No, she wrote
Lola
same,
and
this person wrote same hat, yo, which is I think a much.
No, she actually has two tweets. I was choosing more grammatically correct one.
Damn. Fine, whatever. No, I still don't think that's no. We've been asked it now 10 times, and the answer remains no.
I think Oda just likes tiny hats.
Yeah.
I think almost for certainty that Lola's mom is Big Mom. Like that's
yeah. Yeah.
We could be wrong, but
probably not. Yeah, I think that's very likely. So I think that concludes the piece together. This was a really fun one, and I think we've been here for a few hours. So why don't we round off the podcast?
All right.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 388 for the week of October 5th, 2015. How many of you guys are psyched for some elephant adventuring? I was gonna say
yeah, I'm down to clown, Charlie Brown.
It's really cool whenever we start a new arc, and I think it's been since 2013 since we've had a new one. So this is especially fun for us fans who are just kind of beleaguered with all the Dressrosa. Not that we didn't enjoy that arc, but it did last almost 3 years. So I'm happy that we're moving on here. And elephants, guys, 1,000-year-old elephants.
I was so excited when I read that. I'm like just deepening the world of One Piece. Back before the Void Century.
And Josh, you were talking about entry points for fans, for new fans. This is a great entry point. We're in a new arc here, so for manga fans, this is a great time to jump in. I know a lot of people are afraid since it's over 800 chapters, but I'm sure you could jump in here and not miss a beat. Anyway, things that are happening. We are going to be at New York Comic Con. That's going to be Jose. The dude's going to be around New York City as well. And myself, please RSVP on Facebook at facebook.com/One Piece Podcast to our meetup. That's going to be Saturday, October 10th at 1 p.m. That's this Saturday in Bryant Park. If it starts to rain or if the weather changes, please pay attention to our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and we will let you know what the backup is if we have one. I think that's just about everything. Things have been a little bit quieter. So why don't we go around, see what everyone's up to. Joey, where can people find you? What are you up to?
Yeah, they can follow me on Twitter at Joey Weiser. Follow me on Tumblr, joeyweiser.tumblr.com, and you can follow dailydragonball.tumblr.com for the last week or two of bonus entries.
I saw you put up Kariza. That's great.
Yeah. I had a friend that's a pretty, likes Dragon Ball, was like, what is that? A fusion between Cooler and Frieza? And I was like, no, but that's pretty funny.
It's Frieza with a chestnut for a head.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm wrapping up the Daily Dragon Ball project, which is exciting. But there's still a few more weeks to follow it and check out the sort of Jocko characters and Nekomajin characters that I've been posting. And Mermin Book 4 is in stores now. Very exciting. The book release party is this Thursday, October 8th, if anyone's in the Athens, Georgia area at Avid Books. I'll be doing a reading from the comic and a drawing demonstration and signing books and stuff. So please come on out. And if you're not in the area, check out the book at your local comic shop or bookshop or Comixology, et cetera, et cetera.
Would you ever do a compilation of the Daily Dragon Ball? I was just thinking. I might have asked you this in the past.
Keep your eye on the Tumblr.
Okay.
All right.
I like that. I like that answer.
Keep your eye on the birdie.
Dude, what are you up to?
Gosh, I'm up to a lot actually, Zach. I will be in New York this weekend. You may or may not see me at the One Piece podcast meetup. We'll see.
Will I see you, dude?
Oh yeah, I'll make sure to see you, Zach.
Okay.
At the very least. No, we'll hang out.
Good.
As I say on the air. Starting this Thursday, actually, this is incredibly exciting. I did a guest comic for my friend Michael Bracco's comic, The Creators. That's creatorscomic.com. It's a really, really cool story. You guys should check it out. But I've got an 6-page arc mini that I did for him as a favor, and that starts this Thursday and goes until the end of the month. So please check that out. One Piece fans in particular, I think, are going to really dig it. As for that's the creators, or that is creatorscomic.com. And Super Art Fight wise, the 17th we have our Halloween show at the Auto Bar. I'll be fighting. So if you're in the Baltimore area, Tim, aka Skeletim, on Twitter, I know you're listening. If I don't see you there, I will be sad, because I know that, we talked at SPX about this. And that's it, actually.
Josh, what about you? What's going on? How's Funimation? What are you up to?
Guys, Funimation is so great. They're not working me hard at all. Things are awesome. Just I guess a couple things to plug. If you have not seen Attack on Titan in theaters yet, part 1 is playing another night this Wednesday, October 7th. Go check it out. Support anime or, anime industry movies in theaters. We have Ghost in the Shell coming out next month, and Boy and the Beast, Psycho-Pass, whole bunch of stuff coming in the next 5 to 6 months. So super fun. What else? Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F is coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. It actually comes out this Friday on digital HD. So if you prefer to watch on your Xbox or PlayStation or iTunes, you'll be able to pick it up this Friday.
There's a showing at New York Comic Con too, right? Or maybe not
a showing, no, but there's a panel.
Oh, there's a panel.
So there's a DBZ panel with Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat at October 8th, which is Thursday. It's at 11:15, room 1A10. So if you're a DBZ fan and you want to go talk about all things Dragon Ball, the franchise, and past, present, future, we're going to be there doing that. Not myself personally. Unfortunately, I am here in Dallas.
You got to come out here one of these days, though,
I know.
Josh.
It's been a while since I've been to New York, man. I need to get out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then the last plug would be to watch Double Talk, which I know I've plugged the last couple times I've been on, but that's the weekly live show that I produce on Twitch, twitch.tv/Funimation, Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern. It's just kind of we recap some anime dubs that we're watching and just kind of mess around and have a good time. Right now we're watching Prison School, which is amazing. We're watching Gangsta and Sky Wizards Academy. So, and then follow me on Twitter at Josh Kocurek, Kocurek.
Thank you, Josh. It's always nice to have you on for the manga. I know there's other people who are like, I want to hear things, and of course, we also
dirt.
Want to.
Yeah.
I know. We all want dirt, but it's also nice to have you on just to be a guest. You're always welcome, Josh.
Thanks, I appreciate it, and I promise that when I do get some dirt, I love coming on here first and telling you guys, because to be honest, I know this is a crowd that appreciates it the most, so expect that in the future at least.
Oh yes, Thank you. Thank you, Josh. And Steve, where can people find you?
You could find me on the Twitter at Steve Yurko. Follow me on the Tumblr, steveyurko.tumblr.com. That's really it.
Is your comic still going on?
I gotta get back to work on it. It's just I've been busy coming off of AWA.
Am I accidentally guilting you
some
on
other things? I was just busy, designing T-shirts for Rick and Morty, which you can order at Zen Monkey Studios or at rickandmortyshirts.com. So,
there you go. There's a plug.
As a proud owner of a Get Swifty T-shirt, I can honestly say
the official one.
The official one, that they are of the utmost quality, and boy, do they look great on me.
It's rickandmortyshirts.com, right?
Yeah.
If you're not getting it from there or Zen Monkey Studios, you're not getting the right one. Is that correct? Yeah. So
pretty much,
it
if it's on a black T-shirt and if the spotlights look like rectangular shit.
If they look like shit, if it looks like a piece of shit, like that somebody is just wearing, they're like.
If it's just like a shit, just like came out of Zou, just
a big old fucking shit, the big old elephant dump
there. Nah.
Like, so it looks like somebody took a big elephant dump on your shirt, guy. Where'd you get that shirt? Oh, I got it off of Redbubble. Oh yeah, well, that's crazy. You should have gone to ZenMonkeyStudios.com.
Awesome page called Rick and Morty fans. It's all for Rick and Morty fans. It posts awesome things like T-shirt advertisements and T-shirt advertisements
that are fake that don't help anyone.
No, please, if you're a big Rick and Morty fan and you want to wear a T-shirt, buy one of my shirts. It really helps me out too. So, other than that, just follow my art stuff. Inktober is going on this month, so I'll be posting drawings every day. I've been busy here and there, so I might not post them right away. But yeah, follow me on Tumblr and Twitter because I'll be posting new drawings, and Instagram too, whatever you like.
Oh shit, I've been doing that too.
Shit, we got tiny
people. You can find me at dude! On Tumblr and Twitter, and also Instagram. I've been doing Inktober too.
I think it's called Instagram.
I'm old.
We've had this discussion.
You have to say the Instagram then.
Yeah. I gram it. Gotta gram it.
Going to the grams. Oh yeah, you're right. We did have this conversation.
The Gram Tour.
Okay, we've also sang that song on here several times. Ed,
that was released, wasn't it? The us singing in the car.
I think
Twitter,
Jose. I think Jose posted it.
Good.
Anyway, Ed, how could the good people out there contact us?
Well, Zach, they can contact us at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast.tumblr.com for news updates and funny pictures. reddit.com/r/onepiecepodcast to leave us piece together, and you can see the photo album of my One Piece collection on there as well.
Really into that this week.
I don't know. Something struck me, and I finally took all the pictures. So there's that. There's also One Piece Podcast. That's our Skype name. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Subscribe on Stitcher. Subscribe on SoundCloud. Subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, or call us on our phone number. Zach?
That phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime. With your questions, your comments, your Zou. Thank you all for coming on today. This was a lot of fun this week. Next week, we will be covering Chapter 803, and only Steven knows what that might entail, right, Steven? Thank you, Steven. But for the One Piece Podcast, my name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
We'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
And you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Translatosaurus.
Oh, that's what the silence
well
was.
played, Steven. Saying nice and silent.
Excellent.
And if you're interested in the latest Oba and Obata series, Platinum End, I will be working on that as well.
Ooh.
That's very cool.
And you also did IGPX, right?
Yeah, I translated the whole thing.
Yeah.
All 15 seconds of the previews.
It's called Igglepix.
No, you have to say it backwards now so it'll disappear and go back to its own dimension.
This test of the One Piece Podcast. My name is Zach. How's it going, Ed?
My name is Blah, and this is the One Piece Blah, and there's lots of Blah in this week.
I think you got to practice your vomiting for when the page happens. That's a little better. Okay, getting too accurate. Steve.
Hi, my name is Steven. I'll go.
Okay. Let's see what's happening here. All right. Okay, we're not even on a boat. This shouldn't be happening. All right, Steven, can you bring some sanity to this?
Which way did he go, Mama? Which way did he go?
Stay out of Riverdale.
Joey, you could bring us down to a level, I assume.
Sure. Here I am, talking, barfing, voices, etc.
Dude?
Hello, Zach. How are you today? Did you know that at Taco Bell you can put bacon in anything? It's a menu item that they don't advertise on the menu. However, you may put it in your burrito if you so choose to do so. I'm very excited to be on this week's manga recap.
Is it the Geico lizard?
You manga.
I was gonna say,
I'm the sixth generation Geico lizard.
You sound like the BBC announcer. It's like, coming up.
Coming up on the BBC, we have the manga recap.
No, like
followed by
whatever-
sports.
Brought to you by
he
Manga
says, like,
Video.
the credits, like, stay tuned next week when we can. It's like when another manga
Stay
is on
tuned next
sale.
week for another exciting episode of One Piece podcast.
But coming up,
But coming up, we've got cricket.
Josh.
Hello. I have 0 voices to do for you guys, so I apologize, but this is my speaking voice for the majority of the podcast.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Any other thoughts before I round this little bit off here?
I didn't have time to get any alcohol beforehand, so
Well, you're gonna
this is
regret
the
that.
Sobercast. Yeah.